Welcome back, everyone, to episode 13 of Quarantine Cast here on Beyond the Brick. I'm Joshua Hanlon, and today our guest is forrestfire101. We are very happy to be back with another live stream for everyone here on Beyond the Brick. I'm joined, as always, by Brian Saviano, Bricks O'Brien, and then Kirk Wilson, Vision Bricks, another one of our contributors who you've seen on the stream several times. And as I mentioned, our guest is Forrest today, a super talented Lego stop-motion animator, has done some incredible work over the years. I think you've been putting out videos for like 10-plus years at this point. It's been a very long time. There's a lot of your fans out there. So thank you so much, Forrest, for taking the time to chat with us today.
Awesome. Yeah, I've been watching you guys for a number of years as well. So it's cool that we can collab like this. I'm really impressed with all the editing you're doing. This is really professional.
Thank you. Yeah, so John is behind the scenes, always switching camera views. He'll be screen sharing some of your videos, I'm sure, as we chat and everything. So he does a really good job making everything actually look decent while we just talk about whatever here.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I'm excited.
Thank you so much. And I wanted to give you a big congratulations on your recent baby announcement. So that's super exciting. I'm so happy for you guys. So what's that like for you? How are you feeling right now?
It's pretty great. Yeah, my wife, she's been pregnant for like 5 months, and yeah, like 4.5 months, I guess. And yeah, so it's really only we're like more than halfway through it, and yeah, we're gonna have a baby daughter, and yeah, it's gonna be awesome. I mean, she's really healthy. Daughter looks all healthy, so she's due in December. It's gonna be great.
That's what we want to hear. Awesome. My birthday is December 15th, so that's a great month for people being born.
Yeah, definitely. I just hope she doesn't like get shafted on all the presents, you know, because like
it might happen.
Does that happen with you? Like when do people give you like presents that count for your birthday and for Christmas?
Some relatives would. Like my immediate family members were kind of aware of that, and they would make a distinction, but like kind of further out relatives would just kind of package it all together and send something in the mail. So yeah, that would happen sometimes.
Yeah, but but yeah, it's cool. Yeah, we're gonna name her Luna Noelle Whaley. You know, Noelle for Christmas.
Very fitting.
Awesome,
very nice.
Man. What were you saying, Brian?
I was saying very fitting, very nice. And then I was going to ask, have you already figured out how you're going to deal with the Lego situation as she gets older? Are you going to let her play with the Lego, or is it, you know, this is Dad's collection as opposed to hers, or what are you going to do?
Well, I guess like when she's younger, we'll keep her out of the studio. I mean, generally I try to keep all the Legos inside the studio area. Right now I'm working on a project where we have to do a lot of sets all at once, and so we're building a bunch in the living room and stuff. So that'll become more complicated in the future if we have to do something like that. But you know, generally most of the bricks are all in the studio. So when she's young and you know she's trying to like swallow things and everything all around the house, you know, we'll kind of baby-proof the main area but keep the studio door closed. But yeah, as she gets older, yeah, I want her to be able to come in here and play and do whatever she wants, you know, just be creative.
That's the goal. Yeah, that'll be super exciting. So we got lots of viewer questions for you. As I mentioned in the introduction, you know, you've been making content for a long time. You have a lot of fans out there, so a lot of people were excited to hear from you. But for anyone who maybe hasn't seen your content before, or it's been a while since they watched, go ahead and just give kind of a brief overview of what you've posted on your channel over the years and kind of what you've done in the community.
Yeah, well, I do kind of like stop motion animation, kind of like 18+ animations usually. They're kind of similar to like South Park or Robot Chicken. I parody superheroes, kind of pop culture in general, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's a really good overview of what you do. And certainly the superhero thing was something I wanted to ask you about, because both like Marvel and DC have been a big part of the content you've put out on your channel over the years. So how did you kind of hone in on that with your channel and kind of decide like that was the type of thing you really wanted to focus on?
I've just always been super into superheroes and Batman in particular, and like the DC characters. I like the Marvel characters too, but in terms of like the comics and stuff, I've always read more of DC. and Batman was always kind of like my go-to guy. So when I'm doing these videos, you know, it's kind of just I naturally gravitate towards that. But yeah, it's just kind of whatever kind of strikes my interest. If I do have an idea that doesn't have like a property related to it, then I'll do it, but that's very rare. So usually I just kind of, since the videos take so long to make, you really have to kind of be committed to the idea. And yeah, it's you want to kind of be doing something that you're actually interested in.
Right, and that's a super good point, and something I wanted to dive into more with you. You mentioned how long the videos take to make. I think a lot of people don't understand or quite appreciate what one of these types of like stop motion or animation videos takes to produce, and just the incredible amount of time and effort you have to put into this. So talk about that kind of, if you can, give us sort of the workflow of one of your videos, or maybe a few different ones if you've got different examples that come to mind of kind of how it works from coming up with the idea through to like script or filming and everything, that until we get to the finished product we actually see on your channel.
Yeah, well, I mean, it all starts with the script. I mean, if it's a music video or something, then a lot of times the music, you know, the music's already done, so that all the audio is already done. It's kind of easier. All I have to do is just create the visuals. But if it's just me making the video, then I have to, you know, write the script. I have to do the voices. I have to lay the voices down in a track and then animate to it. And then once I do the animation, I have to do all the cleanup on all the visual effects and all the sound effects. So yeah, the whole process can take months, you know, for a simple, you know, animation that maybe lasts a couple minutes. Like the Batman versus Ra's al Ghul video. That was a video I actually tried to really speed up the process. It was something where like I feel like I've gotten so particular and so kind of neat freak about my videos that I wanted to see if I could kind of get back to basics and just create a really quick, dirty, fast video. And I think I shot all of that in like a month or like a month and a half. Or I turned the whole video around in a month and a half from start to finish. So yeah, it is possible to be quicker, but then you kind of have to sacrifice on quality a bit.
What are those areas that you kind of switched up, or maybe you felt like you sacrificed a little bit to make a video like that, the Ra's al Ghul one versus some of your other videos? I noticed, I just was recently watching that Ra's al Ghul one. I don't think there's any like talking in that, so I'm sure like the script portion, that was something that you saved some time on, but are there other areas as well?
Yeah, when it's just action scenes, it's not as, yeah, you don't have to worry about doing voice recording or getting actors or, yeah, the story doesn't really matter either. With the Batman versus Ra's al Ghul, I kind of just made up the story as I went along. I just knew I wanted them to fight shirtless in the desert, and I kind of just, I wasn't even sure how to start it, and Mason was the one who actually told me, like, they should bust through the door to start. And I was like, oh, that's a good idea. So they bust through the door, they start fighting. I knew I wanted them to get on top of this hill, and I knew I wanted to have a Lazarus pit in there, so I built the whole set with the Lazarus pit, and I knew one of them was going to fall into it. And I kind of just made it up as I went along. The way I saved time on this video was kind of just not just really making a concerted effort not to be precious about everything, and kind of just like pushing myself to just go as fast as possible when I was animating the shots and while I was editing. I also shot it on a webcam, the entire thing. None of it was shot on a DSLR, so that's
oh wow,
a time too. Yeah, I actually shot it on the webcam I'm using to talk to you guys right now. So yeah, it was kind of just an experiment to see if I could kind of do something really quick and dirty again. It still took a month and a half, but that's a lot quicker than a lot of my other videos. So yeah, I like how it turned out, but I definitely prefer doing it, you know, 10 out of 10, you know, like not holding anything back. But you know, every once in a while you do just want to get a video up on the channel.
Right, yeah, you don't always want to spend, you know, months and months on every project. Do you try to like storyboard, so you have an idea, okay, this thing's going to take me 2 months or 3 months, or, you know, try to get as good an idea as possible kind of before you launch into it, so you don't get, you know, a month in and you realize, oh, this is going to be a lot tougher, a lot longer project than I thought?
Generally, no. I do storyboards generally when I'm working with a client, because they like to see kind of the plan beforehand, and they like to be able to make notes. And it's a lot easier for you to take notes from them on the storyboard than if you do the video and then later they have notes, because then you have to go back and reshoot everything, or, you know, change something physically, or, you know, redo work that you've already done. So that's kind of a necessity when it comes to a client. But when I'm just working by myself or with like one other person, I generally don't like to do storyboards. I think Werner Herzog said storyboards are the instrument of the coward, which is a pretty extreme stance to take. But I really do feel like it's like music. You know, you kind of you want to just be able to feel the rhythm, and you kind of want to jam, and you don't want to lock yourself down to these train tracks too early if you don't have to.
Yeah, you just kind of see where the story kind of takes you and where you can take the characters and the builds and everything like that, and switch it up as you go along.
Yeah, like with the Captain America Nazi zombie video, I kind of had a general idea. I wanted to have a 3-act structure kind of, and I knew what the set was going to be, you know. But from there, it was still very loose, you know. I know I wanted the Avengers to come in at the end, but even that I think was a later addition. I think I decided I wanted to do that aspect of the video like maybe halfway through. So yeah, I was just making it up as I went along.
And there's a good question related to this in the chat from Melissa. Do you have a background in filmmaking? And then there were other viewer questions we had gotten along those lines of just kind of what led you into making these stop motion films in general. So if you can talk about that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been interested in filmmaking ever since I was a little kid. I mean, I started my channel when I was 13, so you know, my whole background has kind of just been YouTube. But before that, I was really interested in you know, comic books and drawing and stuff. Like right now, I'm even starting to get back into it. Like I've been working on this guy, kind of a comic book series that I used to draw called Scroll Man, and I used to draw that a lot when I was 13, and before that, because I've just always been into telling stories. You know, always been into having these characters interact with each other, and you know, fight villains. That, you know, very you know, interested in storytelling. So my frustration with the comic books is that I couldn't make them move, though. I could never see them actually in action. I couldn't feel like they were really alive. So when I was 13, I got a camera for my I think it was my birthday, or no, it was Christmas. My parents got me this little like tiny DV camera, and I started experimenting with stop motion because that's what I saw in Robot Chicken. And Robot Chicken was really the catalyst. That's what kind of inspired me to start doing it, because it seemed like the most attainable thing. Like when you watch like Nightmare Before Christmas, it looks so professional and so like special that you feel like as a youngster you could never accomplish anything near that. But watching Robot Chicken really inspired me, and South Park too, because it seemed like it was attainable.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I see that sometimes with different builds at Lego conventions as well. I think there are certain builds that like a kid can look at and really understand kind of how they came together, or get an idea of, hey, I could go home and do something similar to this. And then you've got those builds that are just so incredible, it's not within any, you know, kid's reach when they're walking around a convention, and something that no kid could ever go home and do. And they're still amazing builds, and it's cool to see them on display, but it's also nice to see those builds that can really help inspire a kid who can look at it and say, I think I could go home and do something similar with my own bricks to this.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think there always has to be that kind of entry level stuff to actually get people, you know, past the threshold from you know, viewer to what do you call it, builder.
So has Lego always been kind of your main medium for animation, or in some of those early days did you experiment with a lot of different types of materials for your work?
Yeah, I guess when I first started doing stop motion, Lego wasn't the first thing I started because I thought of, because they were so tiny, and with the DV camera that I had, I couldn't really even get them in focus. It would only focus on things that were like maybe 2 feet in front of the camera. So if I wanted to put a Lego in front of the lens, it would just be blurry, and it was such an old, you know, camera that you couldn't even switch the focus. It was just like a locked focus. And so yeah, at first I started experimenting with like action figures, like Spider-Man action figures, and toys and other things. But eventually I started just being more gravitating towards Lego, because you can build sets with it, and you can actually tell better stories, you know, with the types of sets you could build. And for the first few years, I think I just shot all the Legos from like really far away. Like there were no close-ups, there were no mediums. Everything was like an extreme wide shot. Pretty funny. And
Yeah,
everything from up here too. Everything was looking down at the set because I had the camera on this like little like tripod with like these bendy legs, so I couldn't put the camera like on the floor. It was always just looking straight down. Awful.
You're like, no, you don't understand. This is my artistic style, okay? This is how I do every shot. This is on purpose.
Yeah, right. Sure.
But yeah, that's how you can look back, and I think you see how much you improved. I'm sure you see that a lot with your videos, especially, the type of work you do that just takes so long to create a video, and there's, such a high level of quality that you can achieve with that. I'm sure you can look back on some of your early stuff and really see the improvement.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just satisfying, like when I first started, like not knowing how to do things, and then like learning how to do them was just like, I'm still learning how to do certain things, and it's always really satisfying, like being frustrated with a problem and then solving the problem. I think that's what all filmmaking is, just problem solving.
How did you decide to start uploading videos to YouTube? Kind of how far into that? You said you got that camera at 13. Was it pretty soon after that you started uploading, or did it take you a while to decide to start doing that?
Well, yeah, I probably got the camera when I was like maybe 12 or 13, because I know I definitely started my channel when I was 13.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's probably like less than a year after I got my camera that I started uploading stuff to YouTube.
Were there any other YouTubers at that time that you were watching that were doing similar work, or with that being so many years ago now, was there just not a lot of people in that space creating many videos?
There definitely were people making videos, like brick filmers. There's a whole online community called like brickfilm.com or something. But I didn't even know about them until after I started doing it. I kind of thought I invented brick filming for like a few years, and then I realized like, oh, other people do it. I think the first brick filmer I noticed besides myself was Keshin, and we started talking. And then through him, I think I found other people, and I was like, oh, people have been doing this for a while. Like this isn't like a new thing.
Right. Yeah. It's kind of like when someone first joins the AFOL community with Lego and realize, oh, I'm not the only adult who builds with Lego out there. And it turns out this is people doing this all over the world, and there's all this cool stuff going on. So you can once you join that bigger community, there's a lot of potential there.
Lego isn't even really like that great for kids anymore. You know what I mean? Not only can they like swallow it and choke on it and die, like they can also like, they have phones and stuff now. Like kids don't care about Lego. Like I don't know. Like I feel like there's more adult fans of Lego than there are like kid fans of Lego. Like these days, at least that's how I feel.
I think there's still a lot of kids that play. I think it's still primarily kids that buy it. But no, certainly the adult community is growing every day, and the portion of sets that are bought by adults, I think, continues to grow year over year for sure. And then there's obviously more and more themes coming out that are aimed specifically at adults as well.
Right.
So you're seeing them kind of trying to get a bigger portion of that market.
Yeah, they're so expensive too. It's like, what kid can really afford that? I mean, you kind of have to be like in a, upper middle class to, upper class income household to be able to afford to buy Lego for your kids these days.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible, but I mean, you never know. As you look at companies like Brickmania as well, who I'm a big fan of their products and stuff, but definitely have some expensive. They just released, I think, like a $3,000 kit that Brickmania sells now, and they can't keep that in stock. It sells immediately. So I mean, and even looking at the $800 UCS Millennium Falcon, I mean, who would have thought that set would be out of stock for years at a time? That Lego couldn't keep it in stock at that price point, but it's pretty crazy how many people out there can afford to buy this stuff. So I think Lego's going to keep doing it.
Yeah, right.
For you personally, what types do you buy a lot of sets yourself, or do you mostly focus on just kind of getting pieces for your collection you can build mocks out of, or how do you approach that?
Well, I mean, if I write a script and it calls for a certain set, I'll just buy the set generally, because it'll save time than for me just trying to make the set. And there's a certain novelty to showing off the official Lego set, in a video. I think people appreciate that. So yeah, for like instance, like I just had to get a hold of a USC Millennium Falcon for a video I'm working on currently, and it was a challenge actually. They're all sold out, like you said, and with the quarantine and everything, I think more people are buying Lego right now to pass the time. Yep. So luckily, my friend Damo, he had a Millennium Falcon that he hadn't built. He's had it in his garage for a number of years. So I paid him to rent it. I paid my friend Brian to build it because I didn't want to build that thing. And I built enough Lego in my life. Like I don't need to build anymore if I don't have to. So I paid Brian and Damo to rent it and build it. So now I'm going to use it, and then once I'm done with it, I'm going to take it all apart and give it back to him so he can build it.
That set is an undertaking. That set's like a part-time job for a week to get that thing put together.
Yeah, and Brian, he used to work at Legoland. He's a Lego master builder, so he's probably the quickest builder I know. And it took him a couple days. Yeah.
Those big Star Wars sets, as Brian here in the stream can attest to with the Super Star Destroyer, can definitely be a commitment, right?
They take so long, and it's a lot of gray. It's a lot of technique.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
Not my taste.
Usually I'm trying to build a set to get it in front of the camera so I can shoot a scene and then be done with it. And it's like, if you're building for more than a day, you're just like, it just becomes frustrating because you're like, I just want to shoot this video. Like, I don't want to sit here all day. Like, I recently built the Lego Hogwarts, the big one.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun for like the first day. And then after that, I was like, all right, is this ever going to be over? And it took me like, I don't know, like 4 days or something, about 4 or 5 days to build it. Like in like 4-hour bouts. It was just, it was cool though. I streamed it. And so people kind of came in and checked out the stream as I was building and talked to me. Kept me entertained.
It is interesting how I think that approach to building kind of changes, because as a kid, you want that build experience, I feel like, to last for a long time. And so if you can get a big set and just, commit all those hours, you see it come together and you enjoy it. But then, as an adult, I think a lot of those sets just, after a while, it almost starts to feel like work, like you were saying, where, maybe the first day it's fun, but then you just want the finished product to be there so you can maybe have it on display or do stuff with it.
Yeah, that's why it's good if I have a friend who has a set already built, I'll just borrow it from them and then give it back to them when I'm done, because it just saves so much time.
You mentioned that you live stream that build, so is that something you do a lot on the channel? I've seen a couple of the live streams you've done. Is that do you try to do that with a lot of builds just to kind of add a different type of content for people to interact with?
Yeah, I mean they're pretty like low key, like they're not anywhere near as professional as this whole thing going on here, but they're just me like in front of a camera, kind of like building, passing the time, and people come in, drop in and say hello, ask me some questions, screw with me, whatever they want to do, I'll answer whatever question, it's just a fun way to pass the time.
Right, exactly. And that's, we try to have a similar approach to these streams as well. We got John behind the scenes who keeps it looking really good, but underneath it all is just, me and Brian and whoever else can join, just wanting to have a good conversation here and chat with people. So it's been good, and I hope everyone watching as well in the chat that watches each week enjoys them as well.
Yeah, definitely.
They're always a lot of fun to do. So have you had some viewers that will maybe pop into a live stream like this that have been watching for a lot of years on your channel that say, because I know I've seen some like comments on your videos and even comments from the viewers when we said we were having you on the stream that said, like they grew up watching you. A lot of people said that you were like a big part of their childhood, and how cool it was that you're still making stuff today.
Yeah, I think that's important. I mean, because like for the longtime fans and stuff, like just never quit, like I don't ever plan on quitting brick filming or quitting filmmaking in general or quitting the channel. The content might take forever to come out, but I always want to be working on something, because the worst thing is like when you watch someone growing up and then they just quit, because like 95% of the brick filmers I used to watch have stopped doing it, and it's a shame, and I want them to come back, and I don't ever want to stop doing this, and I don't think anyone should.
Right, yeah, it's always a shame when you see somebody, especially someone who was making kind of quality, good content that was really adding something unique to the community or something that no one else was doing. When they stop doing that anymore, it's always a loss to that, whether it's in the Lego community or brick filming or whatever the genre might be on YouTube. It's always unfortunate.
Yeah, it's a shame, but there's always new people being funneled in as well. Like on Beatman, Gus, or AKP Studios, Alex Pearson. Yeah, there's always these rising stars that I notice, and it's cool to link up with those people and collaborate.
Yeah, it sounds like then do you try to follow pretty closely kind of what's going on in the brick filming community at large on YouTube and try to keep an eye on like here's, new talented people that are starting channels and making videos out there?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you want to look for those kind of people who are good at everything, like not just animation or not just you know, filmmaking, but also like storytelling, like visual effects, voice acting, lighting. There's so many aspects that go into making a good brick film that I look out for people who can kind of at least hit like an 8 in every single category.
Right. Yeah, that sounds like a good strategy. What is your approach then to collaboration in general? Because that's something I've noticed watching your videos is when you get to like the end credits there, you list a lot of different people that you collaborate with on a lot of these videos, whether it's voice acting or the animation work, whatever they might have helped out with it. So how do you approach that when you're thinking of a new project? Do you kind of think, oh, this person in particular would be good for this project?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I kind of like, just like you said, like I keep up with the brick filming community and kind of make a mental note of people who could be useful in the future. It's only kind of like when I have a little extra money or if I get a budget from a client where I can kind of reach out to them and offer them a job. But yeah, I try to, play into people's strengths. Like right now I'm working with Gus from On Beat Man, and he's really good at like Lego CGI. He's good at a lot of stuff, but I think his CGI is like, in particular, like really special. So I'm excited to collaborate with him, and yeah, just like cool people to work with too. You want to be able to work with people that you like.
Yeah, I'm sure that always helps with the workflow with your projects and finding people that you know are talented, you can rely on, and they kind of bring the skills to the table that you're looking for. Do you do then a lot of commission projects at this point, or do you still do things just kind of on your own for fun, or what is your kind of workflow like these days in terms of the video projects that you are working on?
I mean, I pretty much do as many commission projects as I can. As long as they pay well, because I'm just trying to make as much money right now as possible to support my wife and our new baby coming in.
Yeah, that becomes much more important when you've got the kid on the way.
Yeah, I mean, for me, like a few years ago, yeah, it was kind of a different story. Like I could kind of just afford. It was just me, and I didn't cost that much. I barely ate anything. So, I kind of afford to kind of throw all my money into the films and put more content up, or just kind of make more kind of bold creative decisions. Like just doing the Lego videos in general doesn't really make me that much money. Like I make the majority of my money from the Duck Song and stuff, and then from doing commissioned work. So like working at Stupid Buddy Studios as like an animator, or doing a music video for a client. I've done a lot of music videos, so a lot of the content I make doesn't even live on my channel. It exists somewhere else. And I'll link to it on Twitter and Instagram and stuff, but it's not the same. I like to have the videos on my channel if I can, if possible. But yeah, I mean, right now I'm just trying to do as much commercial work as possible. So thankfully I've got a gig right now, and then after I'm done with this gig, I think I'll probably go back to work at Stupid Buddy and be an animator for them.
Yeah, that's something I've noticed talking to other brick filmers is that because a lot of brick filmers are doing commission projects or that sort of thing, then a lot of the amazing content they make might not ever actually end up on their own channel. And so people who only see their YouTube channel think, oh, well, why haven't they put out a video in a while, or why isn't there so much stuff going out here? And really, they're working hard behind the scenes on projects. It's just projects maybe for other studios or for different companies, whatever, anybody that will commission you for different projects. So there is work being done. It just doesn't always necessarily show up on the main YouTube channel, which I'm sure is hard for you sometimes, because then you want people to see everything you do. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, and eventually down the road, if my Patreon takes off more, it could be something that's completely self-financed. Like if the fans want to contribute towards it, then eventually if I make enough money through there, then I could just do YouTube full time. But I'm not quite at that place yet.
I'm glad you mentioned Patreon, because we're all about helping support YouTube creators here. So you should definitely take a minute here to talk about what people can find on your Patreon, the types of levels you have of support, because it'd definitely be great if people can go over and support your work and help you continue to create these videos in the future.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think I have like 3 tiers of support. There's like a $1 tier, a $2 tier, and a $5 tier. And on the $5 tier, there's like a monthly quiz, and whoever wins the quiz gets sent minifigures to their house, to the address they provide. And then there's also like production assets available. So like if I have like elements, like say like a flying Minoc from a Star Wars video that's on green screen, you know, I already have it pre-keyed, you know, I've already done all the work, so I upload that kind of stuff if people want to use it in their animations or whatever. You know, or just like Star Wars ships, or, you know, stuff that's already been cut out, you can copy and paste. And then I upload like scripts there too, if anyone's interested in reading the scripts from my videos, or, you know, kind of reading them as they watch the video to see the kind of what's changed, or you know, it's kind of interesting. I don't know, it's just a place where you can go and support my videos if you want.
Right, yeah, and it's great for, you know, the many hundreds of thousands of people who have, you know, seen your work over the years. I actually think John mentioned to me before we started the stream here, I think your channel is about to pass 1 billion views. I think getting close to it. A lifetime, which is just insane. You know, that's amazing. Great work on that. But that's a lot of people. So there are a lot of people who've enjoyed your content over the years. So definitely, if they're watching right now, go check out Forrest Patreon. You can help support him over there, and then also get that neat kind of behind the scenes stuff that he was talking about. If you've seen his videos and wonder kind of what goes into that a little bit. So there's some super cool stuff out there, and there's John just put a link to the Patreon in the chat here for anyone watching. You can go check that out as well. So I did want to make sure we got to some of our viewer questions here. So one question that I thought was good, and I don't know if you'll have an answer to this right off the top of your head, but somebody asked, if you could make a movie right now for under $10 million, what kind of movie would it be? And do you have like a vague storyline for what it would look like? Is there kind of a dream project out there for you?
Oh man, that's a good question. Under $10 million. No, you know, I mean, honestly, I've thought about it, and I probably could have made a movie by now if I've met producers out here in LA, and I've met people who have money. But you need to have a script first, you know. That's what really it comes down to. And a lot of people out here, they just want to make a movie so bad, but they don't really care about the script, or they'll throw the script together really fast, and then they'll end up making like a terrible movie. And it's like, you kind of have to have the script, and like the script is going to drive everything. So if you don't have the script, you know, then you're not really going to make a movie, you know. So I'm just kind of waiting until that inkling of an idea hits me, and I can develop it into something bigger. And then once I do write a whole script, you know, then I can go around and look for funding and, you know, that kind of stuff. But until then, I'm kind of just cruising, you know. I don't really have a plan. I mean, I would love to direct a awesome action movie, you know, like a pirate movie or a heist film, or, you know, like you know, some sort of you know, really cool, you know, indie movie that gets a lot of praise and attention and stuff. But if I don't have an idea, you know, if I don't have a script, then all that effort's gonna be going to something that's not really inspired.
That just goes to show, if you have a good idea, that's one thing, but you got to have the articulated plan for it in the form of a script and everything else. So to anybody else out there who's like, well, I have an idea, you got to refine it and make it into a piece of content first. Yeah,
it's got to be airtight for sure.
And that's where that real work behind the scenes comes in, that, you know, you talk about how these projects take you months for us, and that's what a lot of that stuff is. You're putting that time in that maybe people don't always see, but that's what makes the quality projects happen. And so you've got to be willing to do all that on the back end to make the final product that people actually see.
Yeah, it's really easy to write Lego Batman stuff, you know, like it's really easy to write parody. It's really easy to look at a property like Batman or Spider-Man or whatever and say, how can I make that funny? How can I make fun of that? You know, like point and laugh at it, like, oh, isn't that so silly, or isn't that so stupid? Or like take the characters and kind of contort them and make them into these awful characters or whatever. But it's not so easy to come up with your own bold original characters that are actually new and fresh and say something. That's a lot more challenging to create something completely from your own mind. So I am trying to work on that right now, like with my comic book series I'm developing and other things. But Nothing's like super solid yet. I don't have enough of something built out to feel confident enough to go to a producer and ask them for millions of dollars. But if I did, I totally could. You know, that's possible.
Right. Yeah, that's amazing. That's the great thing about, the era we live in today in terms of getting funding for projects that wasn't nearly as easy 50 plus years ago. If somebody had an idea for something, getting the green light and funding for that was much more difficult. But today there's so many different avenues for that if you have a solid idea and you really have it airtight, like you said, then there's a lot of opportunities there.
Yeah, and I'm thinking like more and more like I kind of just want to write a book first, you know, because I feel like books always get optioned. Like like Harry Potter, like she just had a really good idea and then she just like wrote that whole series. She just started writing the books and then once you have the books, it's like that's as airtight as you can get. You know, it's even better than a script. Or the same with a comic book series like Kick-Ass. They sold that before they sold the movie rights before the comic book was even released. So it's like if you create a story and write it in a much more maintainable or much more not maintainable achievable medium like comics or even books. I mean that's just words on a page, you know. But if you really flesh it out, then everyone from Hollywood's going to be tripping over themselves to buy it from you and develop it.
Right. That's the way to go. Have you done much with that, would you say, in the videos you've done over the years up to this point in terms of like your like stop motion animation or anything else along those lines of something that you feel like is kind of your own original idea? I know you talked about like parody and you've done a lot of that type of thing, but have you attempted many of those projects that were kind of just starting from scratch on your own?
Yeah, a couple. I mean, I did like the Eames and Barry show with Disney XD a couple of years ago, and that was a show that Mason and I had been developing for a number of years. Well, we kind of started developing it a few like 5 years before that, and for Maker, which is the company I used to be signed under, because they wanted to develop a cartoon, but then that never really went anywhere. So we kind of put it on the back burner, and then Disney came along and they were asking me if I had anything that I wanted to develop. So I showed them that, and they liked that, so they gave me the green light to go and produce the pilot. So we spent a year making the pilot, and getting the script was difficult. I mean, we had the characters, which is a really good place to start. You know, Eames and Barry, we knew who they were. We had a really strong sense of their personalities and the way they would talk to each other and interact with the world. But kind of finding the right story to start the pilot was really a challenge, and we ended up writing like 4 or 5 different versions of the first script. And the other thing is too, the show was originally developed to be a much more hard R, kind of grisly noir detective thriller with these cute animals. So it was going to be this like really, just crass kind of thing, like most of my other videos. But with Disney, obviously you have to scale that way back and bring it into the kind of family-friendly zone. So that was an interesting challenge as well. But it was one that I was interested in doing just because I wanted to produce the show, and I thought it would be kind of fun to try to see if I could write something that wasn't shock humor. So yeah, I mean, in hindsight, I do think the show would have been a lot better as a R-rated series, and if I do bring it back, I probably will make it a lot more grisly and a lot more kind of just dark and ominous. But I think I still was able to kind of translate that tone into the PG family-friendly pilot. It's just I kind of had to change like the guns into like laser pistols, or I had to change like, I couldn't do a murder, so I did like a purse snatcher, like, the most innocent crime I could think of. So I kind of went into like the silliness of it, and I think that kind of worked in its benefit in a lot of ways. But yeah, if I were to develop it further, I probably would make it, more of a R-rated affair. But yeah, I just haven't really had much of an idea to develop it further than what it is right now. Mason and I have talked about writing like an entire first season of it and then going and pitching it to Netflix or something. And we totally could. We just haven't really done it because I just don't think we're really that inspired. I mean, we wrote that first pilot and then we did it, and it kind of scratched the itch a little bit. Like there wasn't, after we were done with it, it kind of just, we were satisfied. So we don't really feel called to make more, And I feel like that you should really want to make it. If you're going to spend all your time and energy on it, you shouldn't. There shouldn't be any kind of you shouldn't be second guessing yourself at all.
I think that's especially true for any kind of filmmaking, whether it's brick filming or whatever it might be, because you just take such a big commitment, like we've talked about earlier. And so if it's not a project that you really truly believe in and that you want to pour yourself into, I think it's easy to get burnout or just create something that really isn't, very good in the end.
Yeah, I see that a lot on Netflix these days. Like just like these shows that are just like, here you go.
They're just green lighting like literally everything.
Like, then the creators, they get the green light and they just make a show that's just like, it's a show. It's just like, it doesn't really make a particular splash. It's not that bad. It's not that good. It's kind of just like gray matter. And I definitely don't want to make a show like that.
Mm-hmm. You want to make a show like Avatar that Brian and Kirk will still watch today, and fans will go crazy for when it goes on Netflix.
I've been wanting to rewatch Avatar with my wife because she's never seen it.
You need to.
So good.
I'm telling you that you should take the time. Whatever else you're doing, not as important. Watch that. Don't watch the movie. Don't.
No.
Just the show.
Yeah, no, never the movie. Never.
No,
that was awful.
You gotta promise me, whatever you do in the future, as long as it's more well articulated than that movie. Can you promise me that?
I mean, that's a pretty low bar, so yeah.
Okay, good. I need your word on the quarantine cast here. Good.
Yeah. That's safe to assume. Yeah, right now we're in the middle of watching Breaking Bad, so she's never seen that before, and she's really liking that, and I'm really enjoying watching that again. But I think after Breaking Bad, we'll go into Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Nice. There you go. Yeah, we're gonna have to start doing weekly Avatar streams as well, I think, on this channel because too many big fans out there.
There you go.
What are some of your big movie inspirations for us, or movie or TV shows do you feel like has really kind of impacted the way that you do your work and create your films?
Oh man, I mean, I really like David Fincher. I really like Quentin Tarantino, Christopher Nolan. Just your standard kind of popular filmmakers. Mm-hmm. I would say, like Wes Anderson. I'm pretty simple. I'm not like super into like film theory or anything, or like I like pop culture kind of stuff, like kind of like basic, like surface level, like popular things. So that kind of stuff really inspires me, like big movies. I really like blockbusters, like Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, and just filmmakers who really create something that has a huge cultural impact is kind of what's the most inspiring to me. I feel like a show doesn't really have a show's not really a show unless it has an audience. So the bigger the audience, the more important the work is. And I just want to create stuff that connects on like a lot of levels with a lot of different people. So kind of universal things. My favorite movie of all time is probably Mad Max Fury Road, and then The Dark Knight. So I think about those movies a lot and like what those movies did, and I try to bring elements of that into my little YouTube videos.
Right. So you're really looking for something that will have a big audience. You aren't kind of going out looking for super like independent films or things that are way off the beaten path. You can really appreciate some of, like you said, the blockbuster films, those sorts of things, which I think is always an interesting debate. We kind of think about that as we're making videos for Beyond the Brick as well. When we're covering builds, we walk into a convention and there's thousands of builds on display, and it's like some of these are things that are way off the beaten path, and they're a good build, but it's something that honestly like very few of our viewers are going to care about, and it's not really going to get many views. Right. And so balancing that out with the stuff that maybe is a big Star Wars build, or these things that we know will get a lot of views and that will have this kind of broad appeal to a large audience, and focusing on that as well, and making sure we keep stuff out there that is going to have that broader audience too. That's a good point. I think something that a lot of different filmmakers or YouTubers, whoever it might be, kind of have to think about.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's just like that's just kind of what I'm into, and I think I'm interested in like what other people are going to be the most interested in. But there's always going to be those like, really niche kind of markets, and it's great that those people are doing that kind of stuff. But yeah, that those kind of builds you're talking about, they'll probably get featured somewhere and blow up somewhere on, for that particular fan base or whatever. But yeah, for what you're doing, you're trying to make your channel successful and trying to appeal to the biggest, broadest audience possible. So that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of been our approach.
Some people would see that as a negative thing. I don't see that as a negative thing at all, because it's, you want to bring as much passion and energy from as many people as possible. And whether it's Star Wars or Nintendo or Marvel or whatever, like the more people that I feel can get involved with it and appreciate it, the better. So like, especially with a lot of Lego things, there's a lot of niches, and it's a balance between like, so I feel like Avatar: The Last Airbender is something that is popular, but it's not as popular as I think it could be. So focusing on that more and bringing it like further into the limelight, then you attract a bigger audience. But right now, like technically it's a niche, so there's like a balance with those things as well.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think the Avatar stuff, I would like to see like more Avatar stuff being kind of at the forefront of popular culture, but it's not like Star Wars, like where you can just watch the movie and get into it. You have to like watch the whole show, or at least the first season or something, and that's a big time commitment.
Well, I think the Netflix series would be a good first step, or if it comes out well, hoping that it all goes according to plan. But
are they doing a live action Netflix series?
They are, yes.
Oh wow!
And I have more faith in that because Netflix, I trust as a studio more than I trust other people who have held the last Avatar, thing in their hands.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it goes. But
okay.
Like, if they give it as much love as like Stranger Things, that was something that I totally never got into and wrote off until I saw season 3, and I'm like, well, this is all amazing. If they can put that amount of love and story into that show, then Avatar: Last Airbender, I think, could like shoot right up into mainstream popularity, and then you get more Lego sets and more blah 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 blah. Like, I think it has that potential.
It's really going to matter. It's really going to depend on the lead actors and how likable they are and how much they connect with a mainstream audience. Yeah, because the show itself is perfect. I don't think it needs to be redone or retouched up or whatever. But you do always want to see them in real life, and if they can nail the cast and they have a significant budget behind it, then there's a chance.
Yeah,
that's what gives me hope. Every day before I go to bed, I'm like, there's a little bit of hope left. There's that Avatar.
That's so funny. I didn't even know about that. That's pretty cool. It's got to be better than the M. Night Shyamalan thing.
Nothing's a guarantee in 2020 and beyond, so we just got to take it day by day.
Yeah.
Here's hoping.
Totally. That's awesome.
Noah Snodgrass said in the chat they're working with the show's creators directly, so that's good, and there's hope related to that then as well.
Sweet.
So that actually proposes an interesting question. When you're working with a property and like there's either the mentality of wanting to evolve on what came before it or do something entirely different, as somebody who makes films and brick films, like what to you is the quintessential good and bad example of somebody taking a property and just messing with it and not respecting the source material?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like a lot of directors will get a property and they've probably got a few films under their belt and they're probably a pretty big hot shot already because they've been given this property. And so they think like, oh, like I've got to put my spin on it. I've got to put the old, Zack Snyder spin or the Christopher Nolan, like how can I take this and make this my thing? And for me, I feel like it'd be cooler if more directors approach the source material as just the source material and just adapting it as faithfully as possible. Obviously, like everyone reads something differently, so like what might be considered faithful to one person will be not faithful to another person.
Right.
So there's always going to be that kind of personal influence on the project, but I think it's important to kind of take a step back and to kind of remove yourself from your ego when you're adapting a project like that. And just if I was to adapt Avatar: The Last Airbender, I would almost do it like shot for shot of the show.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I was watching the show, and not to make this into the Avatar podcast, but like I was watching that show, and I was like, there's so many good shots. It's not like a early 2000s show that like, oh well, that's an outdated pan or composition. Like it works. If anything, you make it a little bit more evenly paced out because it was a kid's show. It went really fast. So like when Iroh is having a really emotional moment, it keeps going where it should just kind of relax a little bit. So if each episode in the Netflix series is like 45 minutes, 50 minutes, you can really take your time and draw that out real nice, like a fine stew.
It'd be interesting because you'd have to you wouldn't have to say as much in the script, like when you have actors, you can see their faces, and you wouldn't have to have the characters say how they're feeling as often. So there would be those little things to change, like in the dialogue and stuff. But I would try to keep all the dialogue as similar as possible and keep all the story beats as the same as possible. Just like adapt it as a live action adaptation. I don't know. Yeah, I think Zack Snyder did a really good job with like Watchmen, because the Watchmen movie is almost frame by frame like the comic. It gets a little iffy towards the end, but I think something like that could be really good. You just have to have really good source material to start from.
So I guess like a follow-up question to that too. I've had a debate with my friends time and time again. Like, all right, how old do you think we're going to be when they remake the prequels from Star Wars? Do you think that could happen? And would they, take some cool things like the Darth Maul lightsaber fight and, the Geonosis battle and then readapt that? Like, have you ever thought about if, Disney would do something like that?
Yeah, I have thought about that. Not in relation to like Star Wars, more like Harry Potter. Like I'm like,
yeah, that's another one.
Until they redo all the Harry Potters. But I think it's probably gonna take a while. I mean, because they're so classic. I think maybe they'll start doing it like when we're in our 50s or something.
Yeah, no, I think that's a reasonable time. Like that makes sense. 30 years from now,
like and updating for the new generation. But I don't think it'll be anytime soon.
No,
but it will happen eventually.
I was gonna say, I firmly believe in our lifetime we're gonna be the back in my day Harry Potter movie just came out. It's totally gonna happen. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like to think too, filmmaking is getting cheaper and cheaper.
Yep.
And what used to be, $100 million movie can now be made for like $1,000. Or or like not 1,000, but maybe like $100,000 or something. Like so, special effects and stuff aren't as impressive as they used to be.
Right.
And cameras are getting cheaper. I mean, the only thing that stayed the same or has gone up in price is like actors and like and like the actual talent, the creative force, the crew making the film.
Right.
But like the actual process of making it has gotten easier and cheaper and just will continue to do so.
Right.
So yeah, as filmmakers, we have to figure out ways to like challenge ourselves to make things better and better that aren't just making them cheaper, if that makes sense.
There's been a big big time where people will ask like, well, what do I do if I want to start doing Lego reviews or Lego content? And like my Pixel 3a has a 4K camera. Like that was unheard of 10 years ago. And this camera is better than most like camcorders you can buy at like a Best Buy. So like power is literally in the palm of your hand to make something like super high quality and really good. So work with what you got.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's really great. Just the potential that is out there, and people can start doing it like right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know you have limited time for us, so I wanted to make sure we got to some more viewer questions here. There were a number of people who asked about the Duck song. You mentioned that just very briefly earlier when you're talking about kind of some of your most successful videos and the ones that continue to help support your channel today. So that's just become like such an icon, like a part of like, popular culture, especially on YouTube, is like one of the most famous, I think, viral videos on YouTube. So talk about kind of the inspiration for that video, how you came up with the idea for that, and then the impact that video has had on your channel and your work.
Yeah, that was just kind of a fluke. I mean, my cousin Anna, she showed me the video when I was 15, and she said you should make this song into one of your animations, because back then it was just a lyric video. Bryant had uploaded it on his channel. Bryant Oden, the guy who made the song, he lives in Colorado. He uploaded it as a lyric video and it had like a few thousand views. This was back in 2009, and so I reached out to him and asked him if I could make a short little animation to go along with the song, and he said, "Yeah, go for it." So I did, and neither of us expected it to blow up to be this like behemoth viral video, but it did, and it makes sense. It was just the right thing at the right time.
What do you think are some of the reasons for the popularity of that? All the way going back, you said I think it was like 2009 or something. So that was certainly in the earlier days of YouTube. So what are some of the reasons you think that video has just kind of exploded so much and continued to get views today?
Well, I mean, the song is just really catchy. It's really simple. The animation is really cute and simple. And it's got that Robot Chicken kind of feel to it, to where like anyone could have made it. It's very obviously not made by a corporation. It's very obviously made by like a kid in his basement with a personal computer. And the song too is very simple, like instrumentation wise and everything. So I think it has that like homegrown quality, and I also think that the character of the duck is very strong. Like a lot of people online, they're just trolls, just that's kind of, if you sum up the internet, it's kind of like trolls, like people who just like screw with other people for fun, and that's what the duck does. He just screws with this guy for fun. He doesn't even want the grapes. He's doing it for a laugh, and I think people can relate to that.
I personally resonate with the duck on a spiritual level.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I want lemonade, but I don't want any grapes.
Yeah, he just enjoys pissing this guy off.
So are you sick of it yet, or you still like it? Like where are you at? It's been all these many years. Are you sick of hearing about the duck song? You over it?
No, I think it's awesome. I'm glad people are so drawn to it. I mean,
good.
I'm honored. I want to do more. Brian's the one who hasn't made a duck song for. I told him, a few years ago, he was talking about doing a duck song for. This is like a while ago, like maybe 5 years ago. And I was like, maybe we should leave it at 3, because like we don't want to overdo it. But now I'm like, no, let's overdo it. Let's do some more. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Just to see what happens.
So yeah, if he comes up with a duck song 4, I'll definitely do the video. I'll do it the exact same way, on Paint. And I made the first video in a day. They don't take that much time.
That's so amazing, yeah, to see how popular this video has become, and then you just like did that in a day on this, because like you said, and it looks very much like somebody just did this on their own with their own computer. But I like that's a lot of the appeal to it as well. I think people can appreciate that when you feel like there's that homegrown feel to it.
I do wonder if I will ever make something that will surpass the duck song in notoriety or recognition. And I probably won't, but I'm gonna keep trying. So, maybe one day something that I put a little bit more effort into will also get that same kind of recognition. But we'll see. You
would hope so. Putting more effort into something, you would hope that it is having the most eyes possible. But sometimes it's a simple things in life,
Yeah, totally. So I mean, I'm just really happy with it, and I'm glad people enjoy it so much. My next step with the duck song is just to get like a duck song plush made, little thing I could sell.
That's that marketing energy right there. There you go.
Squeeze the duck and he asks for grapes. Maybe he has some grapes that are on Velcro and you could attach them from his hand and put them, something like that. Be cool.
You have, I think I saw you have like a Teespring store with duck song merch, right? The people can.
Yeah, I've got T-shirts and fanny packs and all that kind of stuff. Stickers, and there's a company that recently just made a duck song collectible figurine, so that's pretty cool. You got the duck song leggings; those are nice.
Yeah, there's some great duck songs. The sticker I love especially. I actually think I might have to make a purchase there and pick up that sticker for our sticker wall here in the studio, because that looks really cool.
Yeah, Yeah. I want to do a duck song live action video at some point. I'm kind of in the process of scouting the location to where we can shoot it, but like build a duck song or build a lemonade stand that looks just like the one in the video. Hire my friend who looks just like the lemonade stand man to play the lemonade stand man. Put him in a blue turtleneck. And then I'm working with this team in Germany who do like CGI. So I want to do the duck in fully photorealistic CGI rendering. And then recreate the video shot for shot. But the hardest part right now is just finding like a large green area of grass to shoot this thing where I could get a permit.
Well, there's less people out and about. You have plenty of resources now. At least the option should be there.
Yeah,
ideally.
Yeah, they should be, but in LA, it's hard to find a large swath of green grass,
right?
That just falls off into the sky, without just a bunch of like either trees or fence or a bunch of buildings. Just like to capture the composition of the duck song in live action. That's the most challenging part. So I'm still looking for a location for that. But everything else is a go. If I find the location and I get the permit to shoot there, then I can shoot it like next week.
And I just love how much thought you've put into it. I love it.
Thanks.
Great.
Yeah.
I hope you can do it one day.
Yeah. No. Yeah. If I find the location, I will do it. But it's just I'm still looking out for that.
Do you have any like crazy or strange stories from people if they like learn you're the person who created the duck song, or from like anytime people have seen that or anything someone's done related to that? Because I mean, with a video with that many views, I'm sure there's just been like so many different touch points that people have with that content now over the years with the amount of people that have seen that.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a duck song tattoo, so a lot of times people will point to that and be like, "Oh, I know the duck song," and I'm like, "Yeah, me too."
It's great.
And I'm like, yeah. And then I go on about my day. I don't tell them or anything.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I just think he's just super influential and popular. And he's been around for like 10 plus years now. And he'll probably be around 10 years from now and 30 years from now. I mean, there's no signs of stopping. It's like new generations are being born. Like they're still watching it. So
does the video still continue to get like millions of views every year?
Yeah, it's still really popular.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's so cool that it's still out there. And like you said, yeah, new people coming in every day, I'm sure, and discovering that and getting new fans.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Very, very cool. Now, I know you said before we started you had about an hour. So do you have a few more minutes here, or do you need to get going soon?
Yeah, no, I got a few more minutes.
Okay, there were some other questions we had from people that I wanted to run by you. So one question was, have you ever considered vlogging, like behind the scenes content? So I know you mentioned stuff you've done for like Patreon. Maybe that could be in relation to Patreon or something where you kind of give further behind the scenes content. Is that something you've done, or maybe something you've thought about doing in the future?
Yeah, I mean, it's something I've done for sure. It's just like with the behind the scenes videos, I want to do more of them. It's just I generally don't want to like film a bunch of stuff before I release a video, because then it'll give away like the plot and like all the details of the story. But then I don't want to edit a behind the scenes video after I'm done with a production, because it's like that production's already done, and I'd rather just spend that time working on a new production. So there's always that balance, and I'm starting to do more stuff like on Instagram. I've been posting more, and kind of like I've been doing more live streams, which are pretty hassle free. They don't require a lot of effort. But really, like once I start putting effort into something, I want it to be like really, really good, and I start like designing something to be like this, like the best behind the scenes video anyone's ever seen. And it's like I kind of have to learn how to scale back and just make the behind the scenes videos really simple and basic. But yeah, I do plan on doing more of those in the future.
Yeah, that's good. And I think that's what people expect from behind the scenes video. They don't expect like a big production thing. It's basically just kind of, sort of stream of consciousness. Here's my thoughts on this. Here's how things are going. Just wanted to give an update sort of thing. So I don't think there's any, great expectation from viewers in terms of wanting something that's like super highly produced there.
Yeah, totally. And even just doing like a set tour or something is really helpful.
Right. Yeah. There's so much cool stuff that you're doing. So I think you definitely have lots of fans for that. Another question we had were we talked about commissions earlier, but have you ever done any commissions for the Lego company itself? Have they ever reached out to you to work on any projects?
No, the Lego company doesn't like me very much.
I kind of thought you might say something like that, just based on the videos you've made. So what has your interaction been like with them? Has there been correspondence there over the years?
There's never been official correspondence, but I've just heard from some people who have had correspondence with them that they're not fans, and I can't blame them. I really go against their family brand, and I'm one of the most popular brick filmers out there, so I'm not creating a good image for their company. But I have worked with them indirectly, like through a third party, in the past, and they just weren't aware of it. But yeah, I mean, it's understandable, you know.
Right? Yeah, it's certainly.
I sent Keshin a keychain once, and he makes violent videos, so I don't know why.
Where's your keychain?
Where's my? It's pretty funny.
Yeah, exactly. But another question we got related along those lines is, do you get like viewer feedback or emails from parents about kind of the upset at the content of your videos, or like, say things along the lines of saying like, oh, my kid loves your animations, but could you make stuff that's a little more like family friendly or something, or is that something you hear very often?
Yeah, I get that a lot. I feel like I used to get that more, but I haven't been getting that as much as time has gone on. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like people will either be really upset or they'll ask if I can tone it down a little bit, and that kind of just makes me want to do it more, because it's like eliciting like a response from people. I kind of like getting under people's skin. I kind of like upsetting people in that way, because they're not really upset with me. They're more upset that they're not comfortable with themselves, and it's kind of interesting to kind of challenge that and pick at that a little bit. And you really shouldn't be letting your kid on YouTube.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think a lot of it comes down to parents who just want to give their kids free reign of the internet and not take the responsibility of actually being like, hey, let's see what you're watching, or what do we actually have going on here. And that comes back to a lot of stuff with like COPPA and all the issues over the years that YouTube has faced of like kids content on YouTube. A lot of it really comes down to the fact that parents don't want to take responsibility to police and do their job of actually understanding and figuring out what their kids are watching online.
Yeah, this is also unprecedented, and we've never had a situation like this before. So there are going to be a lot of speed bumps along the way, but it's kind of there's so much more worse stuff on YouTube than my content. So anyone who's coming after me is just like, they really need to do like a full-on like mental reassessment of their own selves before they start commenting on my channel, because I'm not going to let my kid on YouTube until they're probably like 12.
Yeah, I don't blame you at all. There's a lot of crazy stuff out there.
Yeah.
It's certainly not something you just want kids to explore and discover on their own. That's for sure.
Yeah, and then once they are 12, I'll have the discussion and be like, they'll be old enough, I think, by then to be like, there's a lot of crazy stuff on here. If you have any questions, or if you think of anything's weird, just ask me about it. But yeah, I don't want to be too controlling of my kid, but at the same time, I think letting them on YouTube before they're 12 is just not a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's very understandable. And then, like you said, I'm sure, it's always good to have those discussions as well. If there are, parents, I think we have a lot of parents that watch our channel and your channel, lots of Lego channels out there that are concerned about those sorts of things. So just, having very honest and open discussions about all the content that's out there, with the kids, I think is very profitable, whether it's Lego related channels or any of the other content that might be out there on YouTube. So I think one thing that's also interesting about your content, Forrest, and this is something that I've thought a lot about in relation to like Brickmania or like military builds over the years as well, is kind of a lot of people have strong reactions when they see Lego being used in like a violent context you wouldn't expect with that. And I think that also kind of creates a problem, or that, you know, you were saying earlier about kind of confronting people with your content, and you know, having them work through like their reaction to that. I think that is actually something really powerful you can do with Lego, because people don't see it as something that is used in these contexts. And so then when you do that, you can get a very different, you know, reaction from people and make them think about a lot of these things in different ways. So I think that's something that your content also kind of does.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Yeah, kind of putting violence in a different light, or yeah, like creating using a medium that you wouldn't traditionally associate with violence. Yeah, it can definitely adhere that concept to different parts of your brain. Yeah. Yeah, I just think it's a lot of fun too, you know. Like I think it's exciting, and it's provocative.
Right. Yeah. That's very cool. Now, I know we mentioned earlier, I think, Brian was talking about how his camera phone and everything is so powerful these days. You know, people are kind of caught up in equipment, but we did have several questions from people about like what equipment you use for your videos and kind of what that setup is like. So if you can kind of give an overview of what your main sort of camera and setup is that you're using for your videos these days, and maybe if that's changed a lot over the years, how you've learned.
Yeah, I mean, my setup's pretty basic. I have a Canon DSLR. I think it's a T6 Rebel, and then with like a kit lens, like a stock lens, and I also have like this like pancake lens. Hold on. Yeah, this guy right here, kind of this flat 24 millimeter lens. I call it a pancake lens because it's so flat. But this allows you to get a lot closer to the Lego bricks, and it kind of gives a wider field of view, so you can really show off your sets. So I use this lens a lot, but then for like close-ups and other things, I'll use the stock kit lens where you can zoom in more. And then, like I said, I use the webcam a lot. The one I'm using right now is a C920 webcam, and it's a Logitech, and you can plug that into Dragon Frame, which is the program I use to do image capture, and you can scrub through your footage and take frames and delete frames and kind of see your animation as you're animating, which is a necessity with stop motion. For a number of years, I didn't even have that, so it's just something I would recommend to anyone getting started with stop motion, is to download Dragon Frame, at least the free trial, and try it out. There are other programs that are out there that are free that can do similar things, but Dragon Frame is like the industry standard, and it's the best one. But yeah, you plug your camera in, and then you just start animating, and that's how you get better. I mean, every little thing along the way, you're gonna run into like, you know, hundreds of roadblocks, and you're gonna figure out how to traverse those and how to improve, and that'll just make you even more and more valuable as a filmmaker.
Yeah, it's kind of that trial by fire type of principle of just the more you do it, the more you figure out and the better you get at it. And right. I'm sure you found that with your own content over the years.
Yeah. I wish there was as much resources as there are now out there. Like, because yeah, I feel like I would have saved probably like 10, or maybe not 10 years, but I probably would have saved like 5 years of trial and error if I had access to the resources that are out there now. Because the best thing you can do is just like look up videos on how to do it, and there's lots of really great videos on how to do it on YouTube now, and just talk to other people, like talk to other brick filmers, you know, ask them questions, you know, be considerate, you know, and don't take up too much of their time. But even like me, like doing like the super chats, you know, like even me doing like the live streams, like if you come to my live stream and like, you know, give me $1 and ask me a question, I'll answer it in a really detailed way, you know, and that'll be so useful, you know what I mean? Because you don't have to like go through the whole trial and error part of the process. You know, you can actually just get a straight answer from someone who knows exactly what they're doing. So that's pretty awesome.
Right. That's the great thing about this type of conversation format of like a long form live streams where people can come in and ask questions, and you don't feel like you're limited on what you answer in terms of time, and you can really go into detail and give them all of that info. But like you said, there are lots of great resources. You've had people like Dave Picken and Dave Pagano who wrote like books on brick filming and stop motion work, and there's just so much stuff out there for people. Are there any particular YouTube channels? Obviously, all the work you've put out there. Are there any other channels that give like tips and tricks, or just kind of in general work that you find inspirational that you would recommend people check out?
Right now, Gus on Beatman Productions. He's been doing a lot of really good tutorial series on his channel to kind of highlight how he tackles problems with filmmaking, doing brick filming. Fancy Pants is a good one. He's got a lot of good tutorials. You can learn a lot about animation too, just from like 2D animation tutorials. Like if you look up Happy Harry Tunes or like Harry Partridge, he has some tutorials that are they're all for 2D hand-drawn animation, but a lot of the same principles apply to stop motion.
Yeah, so that's awesome. So definitely some good stuff for people to check out there. We had a question in chat here. Do you have any lighting tips for stop motion in terms of kind of making the scene well lit, which is a big part of any filmmaking? So what have you found that works for you over the years?
Wow, that's a lot to get into. But yeah, I mean, I would say what I've learned is like just flood the set with light. It depends on what kind of scene you're trying to shoot. But if you're trying to shoot like say like a daylight scene, the more light the better, because you're trying to replicate the sun, which is super bright. So you want to get like big shop lights, from Home Depot, that are used for working on cars. Just the brightest lights possible, and get like a lot of them, get like 5 of them, and just flood your set with light. That way you can adjust your camera settings to get as much information as possible. Once you bring the exposure so far down, you're allowing more detail to hit the sensor of the camera. So you don't have to like adjust with gain and have a more grainy image or have a more blurry image. It'll allow you to shoot more of your set, and it'll be sharper and more focus and in more detail. The other thing is like, especially when you're shooting with Lego, they're really reflective. So it's good to kind of soften that up with some paper towels. Put some paper towels over the lights. Be careful because you can start a fire. But test some things out, see how things are working. But if you put a paper towel over the shop lights and tape them, then that will be a lot softer than just the harshness of the shop light. And then also another thing is like, you can light the backgrounds like that, but you never really want to light your subject just directly with light. The best way to light your subject, like your minifigure, your character, is with like probably LEDs, like bright LED lights, and you want to bounce those off of like a white piece of poster board. Like say if you have your figure and you set up a white piece of poster board in front of them, you can shoot a light going behind them and shoot it and bounce it off that white piece of poster board, and that'll hit the minifigure, and it'll just create this much softer, much more professional kind of like cleaner looking image than if you just were to take the light and just shine it directly on the figures. And that's the thing I only really learned like probably in the last few years.
Yeah, so you're always adapting and always learning, which I think is a really important point. It's not something like, okay, I've mastered this now, and there's nothing else I need to know. I think no matter what level you reach, there's always new things you can learn and different ways you can experiment with filmmaking, whether it's the lighting, the cameras, whatever it might be, or the way you set up the characters. And so it's an ongoing process. Yeah,
totally. It's something I don't claim to be an expert in. A lot of people ask me questions all day, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. But I think my work speaks for itself, and whenever I watch my stuff, all I see are the flaws and what I could improve. So yeah, it's something I'm constantly always trying to get better at.
I also wanted to ask you before you go here about future projects. I know there were several viewer questions we had about sequels to some of the different videos you've done. So is there anything you can tell people is coming down the pipeline here, or anything you can talk about that isn't confidential at this point?
Yeah, I'm working on a Lego Kylo Ren versus Rey fight scene. It's a lightsaber battle, and it's gonna be really epic. I've already got about 3 minutes done on it, but I want it to be around 8 minutes 8 minutes long in total. So right now that's on pause because I'm doing a video for a client. But once I'm done with this client video, I'll probably have more time to finish that up. But I don't expect that to be done anytime soon because it's just going to be really, really epic. And it's going to kind of like blow all the other lightsaber battles out of the water. Like, just like, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this, you know? So I'm really trying to push the bar really, really far with this one. And then after that, I'm also working on a Lego Mandalorian video. That's a little shorter. That's more scaled back. It's like kind of a shootout in a alien shantytown. And that'll probably be around like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes total. So it's a shorter, simpler video. So that video might actually come out before the Lego Kylo and Rey video. But yeah, a lot of Star Wars stuff going on right now.
That's exciting. You know, Star Wars stuff is very popular, especially the Mandalorian stuff. Yeah, that's certainly taking the world by storm. So I think there's a lot of demand for that. And I'm sure people will enjoy it when you get those projects posted.
I know. I'm excited to get them out, but it's probably going to be a while. But then after that, I've got a new Batman script written, and I'm going to start working on the Batman. I just needed to take a break from Batman after doing Batman for so long. And I haven't done Star Wars in a long time, and I've been really inspired by that recently. So, yeah, it's been fun. This is the first like lightsaber battle I've ever done, like actual lightsaber battle. So it's crazy. I've never done one before. So it's been really interesting to kind of learn how to do the choreography and to make it look really, you know, spicy.
Yeah, that's super exciting. We'll look forward to that then. Can't wait for that to come out. And I hope your commission project that you're working on right now also goes well for you. And so you can continue with the normal workflow there and keep getting your projects out.
Yeah, totally. The commission project's awesome too. I mean, I can't talk about it unfortunately because it's under wraps. But
yeah.
But I got Sean working on it. I got Gus from Unbeat Man working on it. I got AKP Studios working on it. I got Zach Macias, Zach MG working on it. So it's going to be quite the production.
Sounds like it, yeah. So that'll be soon. Do you know where that project will be posted or where that's available once it's done?
I do, but I can't discuss it.
Okay, that's understandable.
It's going to be on the side of a massive skyscraper in New York City, so you're going to have to go to New York and watch it projected on a building. Right, exactly. That's it.
Maybe. I mean, that's not too far off. Yeah.
Well, before I happen to spoil it, even though I don't know what it is, because if that's close, who knows?
I mean, you might as well. Yeah. No. Yeah. It's gonna be good. Yeah. I'll talk about it when I can more. It shouldn't be too long, but that should be done by September. So,
awesome. Cool.
Yeah. When you have a lot of brick filmers working on something, then you can get it out a lot quicker. Just like we all help each other out, and it just doesn't take, you know, a year and a half to make. It's awesome.
Right. Everybody's just kind of pitching in on the project. So that works really well.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I have my flight to New York ready, so whenever it's ready, let me know.
Sweet.
So I know, you know, obviously you've got the main YouTube channel. We'll make sure to put a link to that in the description of this video for anyone who hasn't checked out your channel before. Definitely go check out all of the videos you've put up there. But where are the other places that people can follow you online, or kind of the places you update the most if people want to see your work?
You can follow me on Instagram. I'm Forrest Whaley on there. Twitter, forrestfire101. Yeah, that's about it. Just, you know, I appreciate everyone watching the videos and talking about them. Appreciate you guys taking time to talk to me about what I do. And yeah, I'm going to keep on bricking.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us today. It's been a real pleasure. You know, I think all of us here in the stream have watched your videos over the years. Many of our viewers have also seen your videos. So it's fantastic work that you've done. And I appreciate you sharing the behind the scenes and also your insight into brick filming, which I know people are always getting into. And so they're always looking for tips and tricks there. So that's always really good. So I appreciate you taking the time to chat today for us.
Yeah. Normally I would chat for longer, but I got Sean over here and we got to get to work today on this video. But if you ever want me back, you know, just let me know. And maybe
we have a lot of quarantine casts. We got a lot of time to kill. You're welcome back anytime, sir.
Okay, sweet. But yeah, I'll let you guys go. And yeah, it was good chatting with you, and good luck with the rest of the cast today.
Thank you. Yeah, have a great day and enjoy your work.
All right, later, guys.
Yeah, talk to you later.
I feel like all the work I've ever done is just diminished by how good his work is, you know? It's just so good.
It truly blows my mind. Like,
what a professional.
when I first started talking, like years and years ago on the podcast, when I would have like Dave Pickett or Dave Pagano on, or some of the really talented brick filmers out there, it has just always blown my mind when you see the work that goes into those projects and how dedicated and patient you have to be to set up those shots and do everything little by little and put that time in. It's just, an entirely different thing from what like we do with Beyond the Brick. Not that there isn't, a lot of time and work that goes into our videos and behind the scenes stuff here, but just like dedicating that to one single video is just like an entirely different type of work.
Yeah, it's nowhere near the same energy that he puts into what he does. It's entirely different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's amazing. So Kirk is a fan of his. Did you get some good info there?
I definitely did. Will I ever sit down to like, work on my own stop motion? Probably not. I tried that a very long time ago. But like he said, and like you guys said, it takes a lot of time and effort and just setting up, preparation, planning. It's not something that, it's not to say I wouldn't have the patience to do something like that. I just don't have the time or, I guess equipment to do the necessary stuff for it. So, but I definitely do like his work, and just like in general, other brick filmers that take their time to make the content that they make, because it really shows.
Yeah, I don't have the skill, the patience, or most of the other things required.
Nothing. Me neither. Nope. I did like one brick film when I was like 12 of like a pirate set, and I have that for my own personal memories. And at a subscriber milestone, I'll put it on my channel. And then
okay, you can't.
It's
like that, Brian. Okay, where is this on the gaming streams?
Don't even hype it up. It is the most ludicrous garbage you could possibly want for a brick film. But there's all sorts of things hidden in the Bricks O'Brien vault, I assure you.
Wow, we've got to start mining the depths of the Bricks O vault there, man.
There's a lot. There's a lot. Don't worry. If you want cringe, you can watch my content now and years ago.
Whenever we feel like we've got too many viewers on a stream and we just need those numbers to plummet, we start mining the Bricks O vault.
Yes, of course. There's some diamonds. There's some dust. There's mostly trash. It's great. Great.
Oh man, that would be fantastic.
Yeah, it'd be something. Yes.
We've kept most of our stuff is still out there for people if they want to dig through the archives and watch it. We've never really taken anything down.
Yeah, my YouTube channel as it is right now is like a single body of work. It doesn't go back that far, but like yeah, I definitely have had multiple channels that have since been eradicated, and all of the videos are on a hard drive over there. So yeah, plenty to pull from. On a scale of Shima to Lego Racers, how bad was the brick film? Ooh. I feel like it's so low that it's a piece of content I haven't done yet. That's how low it is. So I have nothing to compare it to as of right now. Okay. It's yeah.
While Brian dishes on the vault content, I'm gonna run for a couple minutes, so I'll be back in a couple minutes here, guys.
Sure.
All right.
I wish I had a cool like plushie to set here on my chair, but I don't. So sorry.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, I thought that would be a good thing to put, Mario here to just chill and hang out and whatnot. But that's how it is. So this is a part of the show, ladies and gentlemen, where we have nothing to talk about.
Absolutely.
So if you have any questions for topics to talk about while Timmy is on the controls over here chilling, shout out to Tim. Doing his thing here. If you have any topics, please feed us content, questions, whatever. The show about nothing, just like Seinfeld. The amount of responses I saw from people on Twitter about how mad they were about Seinfeld being a thing as opposed to the Bionicle set was very interesting. And I don't know where you fall, Kirk, but I thought like a lot of the Bionicle fans wanted the Technic system of Bionicle to come back, not a building system set. So, like,
wait,
do you see any of that?
I know I did see like a lot of frustration in terms of, I think it was the Bionicle set not being made. A lot of people were upset about that, especially the Bionicle fans. What else was the other one? The Ratatouille mock or
that was
creation. That was another one. And then I think there were some people that were upset about the Futurama set. But I don't watch the show, and I don't really know much about the show, so I couldn't really see why they were upset. But the Bionicle thing, I could kind of understand because it's an original IP from Lego, and they kind of wanted to see, I guess, like have some sort of memorabilia of that theme since it's kind of just gone pretty much. But it's still like, I don't know, and I may get a bit of hate for saying this, but I feel like since the theme, when they tried bringing it back, it didn't do that well either.
Right.
I guess they just don't see the reason to bring it back again. I feel like there still would be an audience of people that would still go and buy it just because there's still that fan base out there. But then I guess Lego, on the other hand, is like still trying to debate to see, is this really worth doing, and put it out there, and then hopefully people will actually go out and buy it, or if we put it out there and then they don't really care about it still. So I don't know.
Yeah, with those, it like they have the construction figures for Star Wars and previously for Marvel, and none of it has seemed to hit. So I don't know. I don't think that is something they want to keep going back to keep trying again.
Because they had the construction for the Marvel figures. Those you had like Captain America, Iron Man, and I think it was Hulk. Did the same thing for DC, so it was Batman and I think Joker. I'm not for certain.
Yeah, right.
And then they brought the same thing back with Star Wars, and I think it's one of those things where it's like a mixture between Lego and action figures, and I think people are just kind of like, if they wanted action figures, they would just go buy action figures. They wouldn't want it in that style, because even at the end of the day, it still has like this kind of like a weird sort of factor. Like Galador, for example, that's full-fledged, like along the scale of an actual like action figure type format, where everything's all whole. But with construction, it's like a bunch of gaps and it's kind of open. So I don't know. I just feel like the audience for it wasn't as good, and so Lego's just like, we might not want to just keep bringing it back.
Yeah, nothing of all of those compares to the powerhouse that is Seinfeld. So I wasn't surprised, but I thought it was an interesting reaction hearing people be mad about I get that they want a Bionicle anniversary set, but most Bionicle fans would want it to be in the construction
the way it was.
Right. Yeah. So I was like, but anyways, just thought that was an interesting thing to bring up there. And it did get beat by a typewriter. So
yeah. So I think that there's also like that thing is just like, okay, a typewriter beat this.
Yeah.
It's like that bit of thing there. But I mean, the set was cool. So I mean, I do like the fact that they took the time to put into developing the idea and stuff. So I mean, props to them for doing that. It is sad that it didn't happen, but I still congratulate them for making it to 10,000 supporters. So that's the bright side to it.
Franco saying that Seinfeld isn't really known here in South America. Would have chosen Ratatouille, and it's more popular than the Home Alone film. I think that Lego likes to cater certain things more to certain audiences. So like Monkey Kid, I believe is more for China and that market because of the folklore behind it and the story and the animation and all that. And then you have things like, Big Bang Theory, Seinfeld. That is definitely for a crowd that isn't typically into Lego. And that's a part of that strategy. Seinfeld, they're going to bring in people who aren't Lego fans, but, it's Seinfeld. I watched that when I was in high school or in wherever. And that's going to bring in a different type of audience. And then Bionicle, it would be getting to a niche within the Lego community that already exists. Exactly. So how much appeal could that have on a wider scale? Ideas is typically meant for reaching outside of the typical Lego bubble that is young kids, passionate, hardcore adult fans. Like there's a certain discrepancy there.
They want to have that balance there.
Yep.
So that's why they have, like, for example, the Home Alone set coming out, because there's going to be that fan base there. You have Seinfeld, that's going to be that. Typewriter, I don't know what fan base that is, but
that's more like a technicality thing.
Exactly. It's like one of those things that people would like to have, say, in their like background or something like that, or just on display. It's like one of those type of sets. But when it comes to the licensed stuff, for example, Home Alone or Seinfeld or Big Bang Theory or Flintstones, even, it's those like individual fan bases that they can draw more people in and hopefully keep them into the idea of wanting to build more Lego sets. And that's the whole idea there.
I'm with typewriters are lit. Go ahead, Brian.
They're typing. I don't know about lit, but they're something. Brickstar was saying before, nothing is as iconic or massively popular as Seinfeld and Home Alone. I wholeheartedly agree.
Exactly.
And I feel, not that I feel like a shill, I guess, but like I like the popular stuff. I like Seinfeld. I like Home Alone. So I didn't see those two sets get picked and get too salty that the Breath of the Wild stable didn't get picked. I'm like, all right, that makes sense. Whatever. Because I know Zelda something must be coming eventually.
It will. And I don't think that they can really like put something, how do I say? I don't think they want to put that out there just yet. They kind of want to, I guess, still see what's going to happen with the whole Mario thing and how well that's going to be received before they progress with more Nintendo stuff. So that makes sense why they wouldn't want to take that in just yet. They don't want to make the wrong move and then have to pay the consequences from that. So, I mean, I personally, when I saw that the Home Alone set was announced, because I think it was the day before on Instagram, I had tagged the designer and was like, I really hope that this set makes it. And then I wake up next morning and it made it. And I'm like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I want. Because I like that sort of nostalgia factor when it comes to Lego sets, when they try to recreate something that a lot of people can say that they've watched or, you know, kind of grew up with. So I like that. So I'm happy that it's a thing. Like, I don't see the whole, and I mean, even in general, despite the fact that it's licensed, in general, it's a great looking set in my opinion. A lot of the details and everything that are captured. And I mean, even if you don't want to keep the set together, look at all the parts that are in there. You could make a bunch of stuff with that. And this is just coming, I guess, from more so of my mindset of being a mock builder. Like, there's tons of parts in there that would be great for mock building. So I'm like, licensed or not licensed, I'm happy that it's a set and it's going to happen.
Yeah, and having that Home Alone house, not this December, it'll probably be next December, would be perfect. That is perfect.
Exactly.
So, did you run and get your thing? You good, Josh?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you. Yeah, I missed some riveting discussion about Avatar, but I think I'll survive.
No, it wasn't Avatar. We were talking about how people were upset that Seinfeld beat out Bionicle in the ideas.
Oh, yeah. I will say that as many people know, and I've gone on record, I'm not a big Bionicle fan. That set, though, because it's not like an actual normal construction.
That's what we were saying,
actual appeal to me. So the ironic thing is that I might have actually picked that set up, even though I'm a big fan of the actual the original line itself.
Yeah, interesting dynamic with that, but we got what we got, and that's it. You know.
Peculiar Interest says, so all we need is for Vision Bricks to say, I like your thing, and then that thing will become a Lego idea set. Yeah, just send me some emails, send me some chats, let me know what set you want to happen. I'll just say it, and it will definitely not happen, because that's not how that works. That's not how that works.
Have you ever uploaded 2 ideas, Vision?
No, I am still waiting to become very, 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 very confident in my build before I could consider uploading anything there. It's kind of like how Forrest was saying earlier in terms of scripting and submitting like ideas in regards to filmmaking and stuff. I want to feel like very confident and know that I have an idea that it's at least it has a very decent fighting chance in terms of the ideas platform before I upload anything. Like, I have tons of ideas. It's just I want to get to that point where I feel like I have a very, I guess it would be intermediate sort of building skill in what I do before I upload anything. But there are certain things.
And that's what, I don't know if you've seen any of the Idea Spotlight streams we've been doing every Friday or not, but that's what a lot of the really successful people with ideas projects that I've been talking to on there every week have said is just like the way that Ideas platform is set up now, and even more important than it used to be, is like having a super airtight project with like the best possible photos, the best possible presentation, your description, the best possible build, because it's a lot harder to edit things now than it used to be. So just getting that, you know, as high level as possible is super important with ideas.
Yeah. Because like I think like anyone could upload like anything, because I've seen like tons of like random stuff on ideas, and it's just like I see what you're doing, but it feels like they're just kind of just uploading it just to say that they have stuff on ideas. When I go on ideas, I kind of want to see something that's gonna like have that wow factor and kind of make me say like, if that becomes a set, that's definitely something I want to have. For example, the Knight Rider car that's coming out for kit. That looks like a model that I would say. Plus, I mean, besides the fact that I love the show, but in general, the model looks great. It looks accurate. It like that type. I think accuracy, detail, and just the whole effort and everything that goes into a project is really kind of what sells it for me, and what would make me want to have that product or own it.
Right. The Knight Rider car is in that wasn't in this past wave, right? That they just announced that's from. It's in the big one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be probably the next stage that's coming up because that was selected, so it's probably going to be the next announcement. See.
That's what I was thinking. Okay.
Yeah.
It's hard to keep track with so many things coming and going.
Exactly.
Here's let's see. Somebody in chat says, "I hope they don't just make Breath of the Wild sets. I want sets from different games." So I guess the concern is that I guess Breath of the Wild is so popular that they would focus in too much on that.
Yeah, and I think that's also probably another thing. That's actually a pretty good point because I don't think Lego would want to make a set based off of just one thing. They kind of want to generalize it, if that makes sense, so that it's got some variety that they could go back and add something else there. Because Breath of the Wild, like many years down the line, is going to be a thing that's probably there's still going to be a fan base there, of course, but it's not going to be as popular. They're probably going to make another Zelda game that will. Brian wants to say something.
Spoiler alert, Kirk. They're making a sequel to Breath of the Wild. It's going to be popular for a very long time.
I heard.
There's no going away from Breath of the Wild.
Okay,
that universe anytime soon.
Oh, well, maybe not. But I think that maybe not. But I think that they'll definitely want to just keep it, I guess, in general of the character, I guess, or license instead. So instead of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild sets, they'll do Lego Legend of Zelda and just kind of go.
Sure. Oh yeah.
Kind of yeah.
It'll be like that. It'll be like Lego
Super
Marvel
Mario
Heroes, and then in the corner it says Infinity War.
Exactly like that.
Yeah, that's what they're not going to do. Lego Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Yeah.
First of all, the name's just way too long for them to even say that. So it's like
that's
nobody has time for that.
No, of course. I barely. Yeah. So. No, I totally agree with you on that. But I think if they're going to do sets, they're going to do something that pertains. I could. This is a whole separate thing. But
this will all be presented when Brian goes to Billund and presents his 100-point manifesto.
Yes, 100-point manifesto. Every single minifigure are part of 3 minifigure series, 3 waves of sets throughout 2022 and 2023. I already know it. I already got it laid out. I'm all ready.
Oh, man.
Put me on the flight as soon as all this is over. Let's go.
I just saw, unfortunately, I think the EU has not opened up to Americans coming in yet.
Oh, no. No, they haven't. No, it's getting worse. Don't you worry. No, it's not.
That's going to be a while.
This quarantine cast ain't stopping anytime soon. Still going.
John and I did just cancel our registrations for Scareback Fan Weekend, which would have been like our 4th year in a row there. So I think probably what you're going to see with that show is just a lot of the Danish, because they're already in the country, can make it, but it's going to be difficult for anyone outside the country. But that show is still happening at this point for anyone who can make it there.
Yeah, it's looking some kind of way. So we'll see. I hope that you guys can keep getting guests on week after week, and we don't run the well dry too soon, because I don't know how long it's going to go on for.
Like, there's only so much time you have to watch Netflix shows and then talk about them on the stream.
Right. There's only so many Lego content creators we can bring on before it's like, all right, who else are we going to bring on now? It's like, do we really want to bring that Kevin Hinkle on? Ugh.
Oh, man. Really scraped the bottom of the barrel there, Brian.
That's the real bottom of the barrel. We'll be on the Brick be at any more virtual conventions. So that's something I can talk about, that I went to Brick World Virtual.
Oh, yeah. I want to hear your experience with that.
Transition, Alyssa. Appreciate it. So I did that this weekend. That was interesting. And I was put on to do that by, I think it was my idea, right, Josh?
Yeah. You had mentioned like, hey, Brick World Virtual's coming up. They have all these different rooms to fill. Would they want somebody to come in and give this preview of Mario? Because I mean, we're still a month out from the sets even being available for purchase. So still a lot of people who want to, get a hands-on look at it, sort of thing.
Yeah. So I was like, hey, Is there an opportunity in the best interest of Beyond the Brick to do something there? And, just for the sake of doing it. And I guess there was. So I did that this weekend, and it was 2 hours of being in a Zoom call. And I was confused by the start time. I was ready to go at like 11 a.m. my time, and then nobody showed up in the room. And I was like, they're in Chicago time central. And then it all clicked together because Kevin was doing drawings too. And I'm like, did they approve your room? Are you good? And he's like, it starts in an hour, Brian. Like, coffee now. So I went and got coffee. And basically the vibe of it was that it was basically a private live stream where people could be in there and ask a couple of questions. And thankfully, I promoted it on my corner of the internet, on my Facebook page and all that. And a couple of people showed up from that because they were feeding me questions as I was doing the Lego Mario thing. Because if I have nobody to work off of and need to demo this thing, and like, it gets tough for me to like, all right, I'm going to draw from this energy or whatever. So it's different if I'm at a convention and there's just more things going on, you bring more people in. But like, when I live stream, I rely on the chat a lot of the, other people being in here.
Right.
So a lot of people giving me some good questions. And I basically started from zero as if nobody knew anything about Lego Mario and just demoed the whole system, which took like 2 hours. And it was cool. There was a good amount of people in the room at all times. People, giving me questions and being interactive. And then it was like a passing the torch of the room. I noticed like 6 guys randomly showed up, and I'm like, oh, I guess it's my time to go. Signed out of the thing, and then
time to go.
it's like you're in a bar, and it's like you see this whole posse move in. You're like, well, I guess here we go.
Time for me to move on.
Carry on. So I did that, and it's interesting, and it's also interesting seeing what other people are doing because PAX, the biggest gaming expo for the public at least, is doing a virtual show. It's a week long, 24 hours a day, and it's free for people to watch those live streams. So it's interesting to see what shows like Brick World can do to entice people to pay the fee to get in, to have access for the show for the day or for the season. I mean, I wasn't particularly doing anything that I haven't done already on Beyond the Brick, but it was definitely a more intimate crowd that I could like talk to. But, it was a couple of my people that were there and, whoever else that was there. So it wasn't too unlike what I normally did. And it was like 2 hours of Lego Mario, and it's a pretty good concentration of content. If you knew nothing, that's great. But it would have obviously been better if we were at a show demoing it and then having kids play with it and the parents and whatever. But it was good. I don't know if I could do that again. If
I was literally just about to ask the same question.
Yeah, if people could, like, I don't know. It depends on what they would want out of Lego Mario. Like, I did pretty much everything I wanted to. I wanted to do like a Mad Lib situation where I'm like, all right, we're gonna do the tree, and then somebody suggests something else for me to add in, and then I do the course and see how much I could score. But there weren't many people like talking in the room and whatnot.
Right,
So,
you need that interaction more to get that kind of point. And that's what I found. So I did the virtual stream before this one, where I was just building and chatting. And when people would come in, fans of Beyond the Brick or whatever, and would chat with me for a while, that was great. But then the rest of the time it was just me building. And so it is hard, especially if you go for like the full 6 hours, which is what I was doing. So I was pretty done by the end of that. But yeah, most people, I think they share a room. Like Brian, you did 2 hours, like you said, and then other people came in.
Yeah, so I had a 2 hour block, and if I had, like I said, other people to work off of or more material to work with, like maybe if I had all the sets, it would be different. But I set up the virtual cam with OBS, which allowed me to switch to a slideshow of all the sets that I didn't have, and gives me a break to like take a sip of water while I'm explaining stuff off camera and whatever. But it depends on what content they're going to offer that isn't anywhere else, and I don't know what'll entice people to do that. And hopefully Lego Mario helped. I know it helped at least a little bit because a couple of people that watch my stuff showed up, but I don't know how much that would entice more people outside of, this circle, if you will. So
Mm-hmm. But yeah, there's I think a couple more Brickworld virtuals planned for the rest of the year. So I don't know if we'll if Beyond the Brick will have any involvement with that or not. But we're certainly big fans of what Mark and everyone at Brickworld is doing with those, and always hope they're very successful because it's he can't put on the regular shows right now, so it's a good way to keep some interest going. Hopefully, he's able to make enough money to keep Brickworld running, and then when shows can start back up, he can obviously do those again.
Yeah, I'm very excited to get back to actual shows. I've had like ideas stewing, and places I want to do like an international tour, and in 2021 or whenever is possible. Like I have a roadmap of where I want to be and what I want to do. So here's hoping that can actually come to fruition at some point.
That's why I'm very glad that John and I were fortunate enough to be able to hit all 7 continents in 1 year last year. If we had all that planned for this year and had to cancel it all, that would have been much more disappointing. So, as annoying as it is that shows get canceled and we can't go places, we've still been able to do a lot of incredible stuff. So I just kind of tell myself that and realize all the neat stuff we have been able to do, and eventually we'll be able to get back out there.
Yeah. Isaac asking how many people were at Brick Fair. Well, Brick World, there was probably the highest was about 15 to 20. It went down to 5 or 6 as I was ending off. And a lot of them were, like I said, regulars of, my stuff. So like, I checked with them too. I'm like, did you think it was worth the money? Like, what else did you do? Like, are you here to just see me? I hope not. Go see something else. I'm like, oh yeah, no, we looked around and did other stuff, but it's a matter of what everybody can bring to the table in terms of content and making sure that's consistent across the board. Like I try to make my stuff the best I can and make it as entertaining as I can, obviously, but having so many different types of people, like, and trying to manage what type of creators are there and what content they're providing is something I've always been interested in doing. Like if I were to have any involvement with running a show, like, all right, here's the programming here. This person's doing this for this long and over this, about this topic, and like trying to keep a good content schedule. So I didn't have a chance to check out any of the other rooms. I went over to my friend's house, but I heard it went pretty well overall. So
I think it normally goes well. And yeah, I'd say my favorite thing about it, and you kind of touched on this earlier, Brian, is the fact that it is a very small number of people. And so you can easily, there's opportunity and time. And I saw other people who were just there as visitors said this as well. You can chat with the people in each room, like the Lego Masters people or whoever it might be that you want to talk to. If, Mario fans were coming in and talking to you, Brian, stuff like that. So it's very easy to do that. Whereas at a physical convention, it's not always easy to, you got to have the person there. You've got to be able to, find time to actually chat with them. So it gives really close, easy access, which I think is what a lot of people like about them.
Yeah, totally. And yeah, if you're watching like GBC, yeah, you're going to be there for a while. And the Lego Masters people are usually the most popular, which totally makes sense. That's par for the course. But yeah, just how he's going to do that for a couple more weeks, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'd be curious to see how it goes. But obviously, best of luck to Brickworld for making it work. It's an awful card to be dealt with everything happening this year, but making the best of it. So
yeah, exactly. And yeah, I know the GBC room is always super popular there. The GBC builders really come out hardcore. I mean, they go hardcore at the conventions, so it makes sense that they would do this online. I think one of the builders, it was either like New Zealand or Australia, was up in like the middle of the night their time doing stuff. So yeah, it's really impressive to see kind of their dedication and commitment.
Yeah.
But hopefully we can stay involved in future Brickworld virtuals, whether it's Brian with more Mario content or whatever it might be, even just like general, Beyond the Brick Q&As or something we might do, something like that. So I'm sure we might pop up again in the future if people continue to stop in. Alyssa said she liked popping into the different rooms. So Alyssa, did you have any particular like favorite rooms or anything, or maybe just any kind of surprises?
Other than me, of course.
Well, obviously Brian is always number one.
What can I say? I mean, you said it, not me, Joshua. You said it, not me.
Anything besides Brian's incredible content and voice and insight that you enjoyed?
Just my presence. You know?
Just your presence. That's why we send you the Dunkin' Donuts gift card, which
right.
We need John to screen share the Instagram post because I heard there was a good post with that.
It's great. It's really, really great, man. Everybody liked it that I tagged in it, and it was good. It was good.
Especially Nick's comment.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna grab some water. Give me a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see, what did other people who were at let's see, Golden Light Pictures says videos from the convention, you can access them in the website. I'm not sure exactly what he's talking about. If you're talking about like convention videos, yeah, you can find those on Beyond the Brick. As far as I know, Brick World Virtual has not recorded anything and posted it anywhere that I'm aware of. I don't know if they're going to try to do that or not, but I'm not aware of that.
I recorded it. Oh, there it is. So allow me to read. So the note itself from Timmy O'Hanlon says, every time you visit Duncan, you can remember how talented Brick and Nick is at creating Lego Mario levels, from Timmy O'Hanlon. And it's a picture of the scoreboard of the Lego Super Mario Championship, which I'm not going to lie, I thought I had in the bag, kind of. But then, Nick, if I had gotten that 2.5 score, I would have been the highest score in the world. So that makes me hate Nick even more. All right? I would have had 450. I would have had 450.
You would have had the global highest score with the 2.5 multiplier.
Yes. So I hate that Canadian even more than I do now. My caption here was, I gotta love the way that Beyond the Brick treats their correspondents. This is what happens when you super chat during the live streams. I know Brick and Nick is the best. We get it with the emoji. So yeah, great. Just awesome. Appreciate the love and support, guys. You treat your people well. Thanks.
You're welcome. You know, I'm just looking at the comments here. Kevin says, and it's from Timmy O'Hanlon. Brick and Nick says, "Get wrecked." I like that. Yep. Great friend. He is there too. Shout out to Duncan for offering such a good deal on customized gift cards.
Yeah,
free shipping. It only costs $1 to put any photo you want on there. So well worth it.
Imagine explaining the custom graphic every time you swipe it. You know, if any of the Duncan employees gave I was going to use a non-family friendly term. If they cared about my existence at all, then they would probably ask, but they're too concerned dealing with coffee. But yeah, totally.
You go to the same Duncan every time, so do they like know you there?
I have a rotation because some Dunkin' Donuts do the sandwiches better than the coffee. Some put more ice in it. There's one Dunkin' Donuts absolutely never going to. They mess it up every time. But like there's some of them that do things better than other ones. So, and you know, there's all sorts of inconsistent, you know, times you go through there. Sometimes the sandwich is a little burnt like it was today. Sometimes they add a little bit too much of the caramel syrup in there. Can't have too much of that. Got to watch the sugar. I'm a big guy. Got to bring that down. You know, it's different things that all balances out over time. But yeah, so I keep a rotation. There are 3 Dunkin' Donuts within like a mile and a half from here. So yeah.
I've actually noticed that myself too. I feel like compared to Starbucks, I feel like I'll order the same thing at Dunkin', you know, on occasion, and it can be a very different experience depending on like when I ordered it or where I order it. I guess maybe Dunkin', that's just how they're run.
Well, so Starbucks, all of the food is prepared like the croissants and stuff are already made. You just put it in the oven for like a certain amount of time. And like the sandwiches are already made. Everything is already made, and a lot of the time you don't actually heat it up. But like it works the same way at Dunkin', because I've seen it happen. I'm in the store watching it happen, and then they'll leave the bagel in for like my egg and cheese sandwich in for like an extra 5 seconds, burnt to a crisp, and they don't care. They just give it to you, and it's it. You know, so yeah, there's where the inconsistencies come in. But you know, I'm not one of those people that's like, excuse me, my macchiato does not have 3 shots of it. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to take it. It's done. Move on with my life.
You never go full Karen on them?
No, I have way too many other things to be concerned about in life than to go full Karen on any Dunkin' Donuts employee. Like, no, come on. Adding Dunkin' in the chat. Do you hear this? They probably don't. They Karen O'Brien.
I think didn't Kevin Hinkle's wife, wasn't she like the manager at a Dunkin' or something? I think for a while. I feel like
that doesn't sound unfamiliar. I think it's either Dunkin' or
so So she could probably provide insight. Next quarantine cast, Kevin's wife comes on with behind the scenes Duncan info.
No, I think it's just they don't care. They're not paid enough to care, and I don't blame them. You know, like keep the coffee order as simple as you can, and then if it doesn't end up being the exact way you want it to, you're gonna live. Just it's fine. It's totally fine. Whatever. So Brian goes full George Costanza. No, I'm good. I'm all good on that one. But yeah, that's what keeps me going because I'm trying to not have soda as much. It's obviously, you know, got other chemicals and nonsense in it, so I try to not do that. But you know,
Doc Sampson knows what's up. We're trying to get the Dunkin' sponsorship. You know, like Ben says here, it's the last hour of the stream is dedicated to coffee chains. We need a sponsor for the last hour of the stream. So hit us up, people.
Yeah, I mean, anything, any sort of money we can get, please, right to our pockets, more specifically my pocket, in the form of Dunkin' Donuts gift cards.
There is nothing Brian won't do for money.
Right. Well, let's back it up here. Let's dial it back. You're gonna have me reviewing Connect sets, and I'm like, all right, we gotta chill. We gotta relax here. Dial it back. All right. One thing at a time. Where can I get the graphic for my own Dunks gift card? I think it's on the website, right, Josh?
So yeah, if you go to the Dunkin' website and go through the process, the form to like send a gift card to someone in the mail, then there's an option to upload your own personal photo, graphic, whatever you want to stick on there, anything you want.
Totally. And you would totally drink and eat their products on stream. There's a lot of things I'll do on stream, Doc.
You already drink Dunkin' on stream the whole time.
Right, but I don't say that, you know, this coffee is sponsored by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. I don't do that, you know. If I did that more often and like, you know, hashtag added up, you know.
Exactly.
You got to disclaim all that. It's a whole big thing. It's a lot to deal with. I don't have the Red Bull mini fridge in the back that I just conveniently have lit up all the time. There, you know,
the ninja fridge.
Right. This is all free advertising for Nintendo and the Pokemon Company. They can have it. And Lego, it's all good. Take it. It's all fun.
I'm gonna get rid of all of the stuff in the background until Lego starts paying us extra to put their product in the background.
Exactly. Now you're thinking businessman. You're smart. You're smart. Jacob says, I like Bricks O'Brien. Well, I'm glad someone does. Thank you.
That makes one person.
What would you say?
That makes one person who does.
Right. Exactly. You know, one person at a time, Josh. Give it time. Brian would be a natural for ads. Probably. I'll be a shill for anything.
I've said for a long time you have a fantastic like announcer, like voiceover voice. So
radio voice, yeah, I know I'm ugly. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Not at all what I was insinuating, but you know, no, you do have a very good voice for that. So if we needed a like a 1940s era ad, like radio ad for something, then you're our man.
You know, hey, I'll channel that energy whenever I need to. I'm down for it.
I think it's because you're from like the New England area, so like that also that accent like fits with the radio announcer voice.
I have parked my car in the Harvard Yard a couple of times, kid. Let's see, Brian. Their sites or companies type in the lines they want read. You just read them, and you would win the auction. You get paid for the radio spot. Ooh, let's talk, stud. You got my number. Let's talk. A face for radio. Doc, you have a face for radio. You totally do. And Dunks is a bee's knees. It is. Absolutely.
You know, I wish I had a closer Dunkin'.
Yeah.
I would be there. But I mean, there's a Starbucks right down the street now, so I go there a lot.
It feels so classy when I go in there. I don't like it.
It's true. I mean, we discussed this on previous streams, but it's such an entirely different experience.
Yeah.
Going into a Dunkin' versus a Starbucks.
Right. Exactly.
Totally is.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's something, man. It's something. So,
well, yeah, I enjoy the gift card. I hope you can treasure that for many years to come as a memento.
I will. I have like in my room at my house, the apartment over there, like a shelf full of all like the memories for the past like seemingly 10 years. So I've been meaning to like take all that stuff down, and that's the 2010s. And now there's not much there for the 2020s because of this virus, but that's going to be one of them right up on there. It's like the shelf is blank except for the gift card. Oh, that's it. And then maybe Lego Mario, one of those popped right on there. So that'll be good.
Let's see. We have more Mario content in the pipeline, don't we, Brian? So if people are enjoying it,
we do.
I hope so. I think we do.
No, we do. We do. Yeah. There's more stuff coming. Don't you worry. Get it, soon.
There you go.
Whenever I say so, because the Hanlons don't have anything left.
That's right. Yeah, Brian took it all. It was just me, Toad, and Toadette having a grand old time, and Brian swiped it all out from under me.
Yep, exactly. It's all part of the plan. All part of the plan. Gift card gets its own board. Yes, exactly. Let's see. Who knows? Duncan may find you. They might send me a cease and desist and be like, "Hey, can you stop talking about our coffee?" Like, well, all right.
You're actually hurting the brain. Can we pay you to not talk about it?
We'll give you $25 to stop talking. All right. Fair.
You're not really the type of people we want representing us.
Right. Exactly. You're damaging our image. Okay. We want New England Patriots, not your low tier, bottom dollar brand.
Not New England Twitch streamers.
No. Not those guys. Not those guys. Dunks would send you a Starbucks gift card. That's how much they don't want me to promote their products. That's how much. Right on the money. $1 is $1. You're right. Yeah, money is money, man.
Someone said that I asked for Brian's TPS report. I feel like that's like a business thing or something. I don't know what that stands for, though.
Yeah, I don't know either. Just
I feel like that definitely stands for some kind of business thing that if I'd ever had an actual job, I would know what that means.
Right. There's a true professional in the chat over there. But there's nothing to. So, do you guys have any 4th of July plans this weekend?
Not that I know. Probably grill outside. That's about it.
My family's having a garage sale, so we've been getting stuff ready for that. Yeah, big yard sale. So we collect a tremendous amount of junk that we try to sell to other people. So that should be fun.
What you got? You got some lamps?
Yeah. Oh, there's lamps. There's a lot of picture frames. I don't know, man. I don't even know where this stuff comes from.
Picture frames to hold all those pictures of the Hanlon clan.
Right. There's we have a lot of photos of us. So
yeah.
We don't need more of those.
Right. Exactly.
I'm gonna start sending you photos of Clanlin, Brian.
You already did for the Christmas card of you and your brother. You already did that. I already have a picture. It's great.
I hope you've treasured the Christmas card as well.
Yes, I have. I treasure it just as much as the gift card. I really do.
Did we? We had our photo from Machu Picchu on the Christmas card, didn't we?
Yep. You did.
Oh, nice.
And I felt so honored that I made the list. I'm like, wow, they thought to write my address down. Go figure. That was even before the quarantine cast. I'm like, oh, these guys must really like me. All right, cool. It's all good.
You know, we want to keep people involved, and I feel like Christmas cards is a thing that not a lot of people do anymore. And I think it's really cool to get cards in the mail. That's the same reason that we send you your gift cards physically. I think getting stuff in the mail is fun, so I want to give that to other people. So it's fun to sit down at the end of the year, think about like everybody we've worked with over the year, and kind of like we always add new people to the list who have like recent contributors or people that we were able to collaborate with or visiting our travels. And then just send out little notes to everyone. So I enjoy doing those Christmas cards every year.
I feel like Andres needs a Christmas card.
Yes. We actually, John might have to remind me of some of the details. We sent him one of our cards a couple of years ago. And then he's like, he emails us. And it was like a photo of him and his family in like a front of a Christmas tree in like a hotel lobby. And he's like, I didn't make a card, but here we are in this hotel lobby and like or something.
What a character, man.
It was so random.
Absolute legend.
Oh, his email.
I'm surprised you didn't get him to co-host these streams every week, man. He'd bring that energy that I couldn't, man. I don't know. Goodness gracious. Cards
I've never been able to get any questions into the guests because his stories.
Right.
So it's been an issue.
he'll tell some story about the Lego house and how the food is kind of whatever, and then something. He'll say something. Cards are 100. Any mail that isn't a bill is welcome. Any mail that isn't a bill or something from the IRS, I'm like, all right, this is cool. Here we go. Good.
I love sending stuff to people. Like anytime someone like if someone will like make like cool fan art of us or like cool build, like for instance that cool build that we posted of the 4 studios of of us and all that stuff. So like I sent the kid who made that some stuff in the mail. So anytime someone does stuff like that, I love being able to send some of our exclusive stickers that we never show the public, that we don't hand out anywhere. Ooh. So some of the exclusive Beyond the Brick merch that you can't get a hold of.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Brick Cat was commenting on the nice Jaws poster, Kirk.
Oh, thank you. I got that. How long has it been now? 2 months ago, I think I got it ago.
Kirk puts up posters for movies he doesn't like, so he's not actually.
No, that's not true. I actually like Jaws.
That's another movie I haven't sat down and watched the whole thing of.
Oh,
it's a very long list of movies I'm supposed to be watching, and that's one of them.
Just you can watch the first Jaws movie.
Are there a lot of sequels to Jaws?
There's 4 movies in total. Don't watch the 4th one. That has like no reason to even exist. It makes no sense. The storyline is just dumb. So
are they all about the same shark?
No, the 4th one has nothing to do with the same shark. It has nothing to do with the same shark. That's the thing.
Okay.
Give me a second.
He's like he needs a moment after that.
I'm gonna go grab the shark. I'll be right back. Have I asked you guys the opinion on the Iron Giant? Does that sound familiar?
You mentioned that very briefly, but you didn't go into detail about it on was that last stream? Because we were talking about the ideas projects, and you were marking in about how you think it's overrated, and anyone who thinks that movie is good must have awful taste in movies.
Okay, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. I'm just glad I got that point across. Okay, good.
But you didn't go into any details. So what is it you don't like about it?
I have a couple reasons. This is a family-friendly stream, Joshua.
Oh, okay. So there's no way to properly get your point across on a family-friendly stream.
No, there is, but like, so no, I'll tell you afterward. Is he talking trash about Iron Giant? I am, Alyssa. It's very overrated. Very overrated.
Alyssa, if it makes you feel better, I recently watched it for the first time and I enjoyed it. So
you're just like because of the time period. Don't get it twisted.
See, that's the thing. I don't know anything set in like an interesting historical time period where like they bring in historical events that play into the storyline. I mean, I just can't help myself. So that's true.
Hey, if that's what it takes for you to watch some questionable movies, then go ahead. All good.
Yeah, Stud Sidious says no Jaws. Wow, must watch. I think this has been a continuing theme of every stream when I bring up movies I haven't seen. Everyone's like, okay, how have you not seen that? But that's just me. I've got a long list of quality movies then that I always have ready to watch.
Yeah, I have too. Video games are always so much faster paced that like sitting down and being like just sedentary watching the movie, I'm like, all right, I feel like I need more stimulation in the brain to like keep moving and doing things. So
I was too busy putting in 100 hours in Assassin's Creed Odyssey to watch any movies because I can like live in a historical time period when I'm playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Right. Totally.
Have you gotten into the Assassin's Creed games much at all, Brian?
Ain't nobody got time for that. No. No. Just the newer games are so much bigger and no, never really gave it the time, unfortunately.
This is the first time I'd ever played one, actually. But yeah, from what I've read and heard, it's just like this is much like these recent ones are much more open world and much more expansive than the past games. I want to play the past games. I think they sell them. I think most of them are available on the Xbox One. I think that's what.
Yeah, they're very cheap, so you're good.
Yeah, I need to try some of the others, but I just I like fell in love with that game. I think it's amazing. But
yeah, that's a solid title.
Plays into my interest in history because you can play through all of the actual what was happening there, so that's cool.
Totally. let's see. Golden Light was asking, what are some of your favorite animated movies? Then do you watch animated movies?
I have been watching a lot more. I didn't watch a whole lot growing up. I've actually been watching a lot with my girlfriend recently because she watched a lot with her family growing up.
You
So
you have a girlfriend?
I do. I know, it's pretty incredible, isn't it? You wouldn't think it.
How much do I not know about? It's the old Henry, it's Timmy.
Kurt came on screen.
I just came on stream and I put the headphones on and all I hear is I have a girlfriend. I'm like, wait, what? Oh man.
What other secrets you want to share? What?
Right, we have a lot of quarantine casts, so we have to talk about these things a little bit. We can't overwhelm you.
What?
Oh, man.
But anyway, back to your question. I've been watching a lot with her because she watched a lot of them growing up, and she's like, okay, here's all the animated movies you need to see because it's crazy that you haven't seen these before.
So she likes animated movies. She likes happy things. So is she a history buff too, or is it like yin and yang with you two?
No, she's also she's studying to be a history teacher right now as well.
Two nerds. I love it. I love it. Great. Awesome. So wait, what else have you watched?
So I just recently, like a week or so ago, watched The Lion King for the first time. Like, actually,
I think he did remember. I remember him saying this. I think a past quarantine stream.
I don't know if I mentioned that. What was the other ones I saw? Oh, I watched Toy Story for the first time. This was like a month or two ago now. I watched Toy Story. I just didn't grow up watching animated movies. We were too busy watching World War II movies to watch animated movies.
Okay. Okay. Oh man,
explains so much.
That explains.
Well, that's great. Well, do you have a favorite so far?
I'm trying to think of like all the recent ones I've watched. So I did watch my favorite animated movies, and these are a couple that I actually did watch growing up. Were The Incredibles and Mulan, and those are probably still my two favorite animated movies. There's a lot of action. Mulan, going back to the history thing, there's the appeal there. So I think that's why I like those movies. Toy Story, I think was I might have mentioned this actually, was a lot darker than I thought it would be. I don't think I knew like what all that actually happened in that movie going into it. So I was surprised at that. Lion King, I thought that was good. I think if I'd watched it when I was a young kid, it would have left a much bigger impression on me, and I would have been more impressed. I think watching it now as an adult, I think it's good, but it's nothing that I would say was real incredible.
The thing with those movies, it's more, especially Lion King and Tarzan, it's more about the music than it is the movie. And like that, rekindling those memories for a lot of people are like, that's where it's actually at. So I don't blame you for like, Lion King is just okay, but like, I just can't wait to be king and Hakuna Matata, like all those songs are like god tier Disney like songs.
Right. No, the songs were fantastic, and I that's the best part. But just as like a movie as a whole, I guess, it was nothing.
I can get on board with that.
Oh yeah, Alyssa says Kubo and the Two Strings. That's a fantastic movie.
Oh, yeah, that was fun.
Shout out to everything that now I'm blanking on the name of the studio that makes
Leica.
Thank you, Leica. Yeah, shout out to everything that Leica does. Their stuff is all incredible. John and I have had the opportunity to like tour their studios and see some of the stuff they've done. There's the Coraline set that's in the latest, what is it, the 26 set review for the Next Ideas phase or whatever. So big fan of those movies. Lots of cool stuff there. And Kubo was really good.
Yeah.
I am definitely more of a Pixar guy, and I really like the historically accurate stuff too, which is why my favorite animated movie of all time is Cars. That's my favorite Disney Pixar movie.
Yeah.
I think it, like, I don't know, just like the vibe of it and the environment, and it hit at the right time as a kid, and I'm like, this is it. And then more so a more reasonable one at number 2 is WALL-E, and then Ratatouille as my third.
Okay.
Those are the top 3, at least Pixar right there. I think that is a respectable list other than Cars, but I like Cars. So
Both Cars and Wall-E I haven't seen in forever, so I watched them, but I would need to watch them again before I really have any like opinion on what I think of them because it's been so long.
Wall-E is great because it conveys the emotion of two robots without a script, really. It's like they show that dynamic without text. It's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah. Let's see. Golden Light Pictures says Into the Spider-Verse. That was really, really good. I enjoyed that a lot more than I thought I would going into it.
Yeah, me too. It's a great one.
I really didn't know like what the plot of that was going in. I knew it was like animated like a different type of superhero movie, but I ended up enjoying it a lot.
Totally. Maybe Brian needs a Lambo with his face on it. I don't think that's like the Cars vibe that I want to go for. But if I were to be a car, it'd probably be like I don't know what kind of car. I mean, I got a used Toyota Camry, so I mean, maybe something like that. But never saw Cars. Never saw the Rat movie. Why are you that way, Jeff? Why are you the way you are? I'd be a Fiat. You think I'd be a Fiat? Yeah, okay.
You could get the Lamborghini set and then put one of your. I'm looking at your sticker, Brian, that has like your face on it. Just put that on like the hood of the Lamborghini.
Right there. Right. Perfect. Perfect. Right there. Doc, you would be a Fiat. I wouldn't be a Fiat. That's great. That's great. What about you, Kirk? Animated. What do you got?
I remember, let's see, Cars, definitely. And I remember
There we go.
begging my mom constantly for DVD because I did not get to see it in theaters. So I was just like, can we get this, please? Can we get this, please? Can we get this, please? Eventually she did it, and I got to watch it, and I was in love with the movie ever since. Number 2, I don't know how I feel about part 2. I don't know. I feel like it was like in between. And then I think number 3 was definitely like a nice, I guess, sort of closure to the series.
Was there a Cars 3?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Huh.
So Cars 1, really good. Cars 2, hot garbo. 3, really good.
Wait, which one do they go to Europe in with like
two?
That's 2.
Okay, I don't know.
There's like a whole.
I don't think I ever saw the third one then. I know I saw
third
the
one
second
is
one.
very good.
Yeah,
Very good.
It ends the series on a good note in terms of like it's kind of like think of it like
It's like Cars 1 in a lot of ways.
Yeah, but what I was about to say was think of it like I don't know if I should. Well, no, I mean everyone's been talking about it. It's not going to spoil anything. So think of it like Endgame, where Captain America passes down the shield to Falcon. It's kind of like that storyline in terms of Lightning McQueen passing down what he's learned to I forgot the name of the car, but
Cruise.
the yellow car. Yeah. So it's like basically that sort of storyline, just like that whole journey of
just like Cars 1 of Doc passing it down.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. I forgot there was a third one. I don't think I ever got around to watching that. So that's another animated one for me to check out.
It shows like what it's like when like a corporation. It's really good. It's really good.
Yeah.
Like just watch it.
I like the second one because they went to Europe. So like any movie where it's like they make a sequel and it moves from the US to Europe is like I'm in. Like that like Spider-Man sequel. I was just there for those like beautiful shots of European architecture. Like I didn't.
Why are you such a nerd?
Spider-Man could have just been like walking around the whole time doing absolutely nothing. And I would have been like, this is great.
I get more sad every quarantine. Guys. I really do. I'm looking forward to Soul. That one looks really good. Yeah, that one looks good. I watched Onward the other day, and that ended up being a lot better than I anticipated it to be. That's cool.
Yeah.
And Soul is the next Pixar movie that should be out this year, but who knows?
Is that what it is? Okay, because I didn't think I heard of that.
It's all about rhythm and music and the afterlife, and it's Pixar level wonky but cool. Kind of reminds me of Inside Out in a way of like dealing with like a inner voice or persona in that way. So we'll see. European Vacation, Brixar, there you go. I'm a Christmas Vacation kind of guy, but we can vibe. We can vibe. And Alyssa loves Josh's take on everything. I'm glad someone does.
Yeah, see, at least I have Alyssa on my side because Brian just can't appreciate it.
I am alone on my island of objectively correct opinions, and that's fine. That's fine. As a film critic, I'm spinning in my seat from all of you. Well, you're welcome, Angel. Joshua would like Coco, you think? I really liked Coco a lot.
I enjoyed it.
Very,
Yeah.
very good. It does not have anything historically related to it, except maybe the old volcanoes. But like, that's not,
Yeah.
you know. So Joshua, do you like
which one was that again?
So it's the one about the girl who wants to find her. Nope. Okay.
No, Brian. No. It's a boy named. It's a boy that.
Oh, I'm thinking of Moana.
Oh my god!
Right, because Brian, I was like, I think I've seen it.
Dang it! So the question I was going to ask you, Joshua, when watching Coco and Moana, do you like to cry?
Love it. You know.
Watch both of them. Coco is really okay. Now, listen, I've been getting so much less sleep.
Kirk's face was like, I don't think we're talking about the same movie.
Oh my god!
I thought at first you're like, no, don't spoil it, Brian. I'm like, all right, I'll stop talking.
No,
all right,
all I heard was it's about the girl who wants to, and I was like, wait, no, that's not it, Brian.
What? That ain't it. See what? So,
Oh man,
it's amazing. Yes, it's about Day of the Dead, Dios de los Muertos.
Okay,
Yes.
I did see that.
Yes,
And I thought it was good, but I was upset because isn't that the movie that beat out the Lego movie for the best animated Oscar?
I mean,
sure.
Maybe.
I think it was, and I was like,
Oh,
okay, this movie's good, but it's no way it should have beat out the Lego movie for that. But so that kind of made me upset at it.
I'm not sure if that was it because
I thought it was. There was one of some animated movie that beat that out, and I was like, this Lego movie got snubbed big time.
Yeah.
But maybe it wasn't that one because
Coco came out in 2017, Lego Movie 2014. So what came out in 2014?
One of my mixed. I don't know. Well, that shows you how much I know. But anyway, something.
Oh no, it definitely was not beat by a Pixar movie because The Good Dinosaur came out in near 2014. No Pixar movie in 2014.
Okay. Whatever the movie was that beat the
I'm
the Lego
looking
movie.
at it now, and I think
Frozen 2? Frozen.
No, I don't.
It was Frozen 1. Academy for Best Animated Feature Film. It was beat by Frozen. So
Frozen?
Is that?
Oh,
They
yeah.
got mixed up then. What was there?
No, that makes sense.
Were any of the other Lego movies nominated for bet? Or was it?
I think it was only the first one.
God, help us out here.
Help. Yes, please help.
I must have got it because I thought for sure Okay. Well,
No, so it definitely, Frozen came out in 2014. So yeah, that definitely beat the Lego movie, and rightfully so.
I'm thinking of something else. Then I guess I was mixed up on what something around the timeline of the other movie.
Well, Lego Batman movie was 2017. So, or was it 2016? I don't know.
Anyway, yeah. Now I've just confused us all.
Yeah.
No, I confused everyone by thinking Moana was Coco.
Yeah, that definitely did. Oh man.
No, I thought Coco was good though. I enjoyed it. Moana. Did I also saw that really good music? Yeah. Yes.
Very good. What's some other?
Did Lin-Manuel Miranda help with the music on Moana? Didn't he?
Yes, he did.
That's what I thought. Reminder, everyone, make a 2-hour time slot for this Friday because Hamilton is dropping on Disney Plus. So if you don't pay way too much money to see it on Broadway, then this is your opportunity to check it out.
Yeah.
Is it's the Broadway cast?
It is. It's the original cast. Yeah.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. Big Hero 6 won in 2014. Angel, yeah. I didn't. Big Hero 6 was good, but
I felt like. Maybe I'm the only person who thinks this, but I feel like Big Hero 6 was trying to be The Incredibles, but just didn't do it the right way.
Sure. I thought it was way too short.
Yeah, that's
Like,
another thing. The Stan Lee cameo was nice. That was nice.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like I enjoyed watching it, like the whole experience, but I do feel like it could have been longer and it could have been a bit better.
Right.
Yeah. I personally I would rather watch The Incredibles like over that. And then I mean, I was happy though. Like I was happy when we got the sequel for Incredibles cuz that was like the first one of the first I guess like animated films I watched growing up, and I remember wanting the sequel, and I'm just like, where's the sequel at? There's no sequel, and then many years later it gets announced. I'm just like, finally. And it actually in comparison to the first, I actually think it still did pretty well. I don't think it was a bad film. I actually enjoyed it.
Yeah. In terms of animated movies this year, there's Soul. I don't think there's anything. Oh, Sonic was this year. Yeah. Did either of you see Sonic?
I did. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it as well.
Yeah. I mean, besides like the little areas, here and there where they have to throw something in for the kids, and kind of ruined it slightly, but it was good. I enjoyed it.
The fact that they ruined it, it was great. What? So I know like nothing about Sonic. Would someone like me enjoy that movie if I watched it, or
no?
Probably, yeah, probably not.
Then I don't know. I don't need to add that to the list then.
Okay, so Alyssa says Sonic flossed twice. The thing with Sonic is supposed to be the super uber annoying 12-year-old that is all about the memes and the blah blah blah. So that's what Sonic is, right? That makes sense that he's flossing twice and he won't shut up and he just keeps spinning around everywhere. He wants to do all the things, and like that's who his character is. So it makes sense. Like he's not meant like, and it was different from Detective Pikachu. And
I love Detective Pikachu.
I can't wait to see more movies that are like that, like video game movies that are good.
Yeah.
Very excited for it. Have you seen Detective Pikachu, Josh?
No, again, so knowing nothing about Pokemon, is that a thing I would enjoy as well?
I'd say somewhat. I'd say you'd somewhat enjoy it. I mean, if you're just focusing on the storyline, I would say you would somewhat enjoy it.
It's cool to see Ryan Reynolds just be Ryan Reynolds on camera, and to see how, like, if you have seen what like Mewtwo looks like and what Pikachu looks like, to see that translated into like, Pikachu having fur and how Mewtwo looks and how he moves. It's just very, very different and very cool. Very, very cool. Depends on if you think Pikachu is cute. I mean, Pikachu is, fair.
I just have no opinions about any Pokemon character, so I'm very neutral on it.
Which that might be a good thing. That might be a good thing going into it. You don't have any.
I'm willing to give it a shot.
Yeah. But we have nothing else this year. The movies that I know are coming out eventually are the Super Mario movie in 2022, allegedly, and Minions next year. It got pushed. A lot of movies got pushed.
Is there another Minions movie? I feel like there's been.
That's what the sets are based on.
Oh, I guess that's true.
Yeah, that's why we got the sets. So the other sets got pushed, and I think the movie got pushed to this time next year. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's about the rise of Gru. So, SpongeBob movie not even being discussed. SMH. Well, why would I mention that? Whatever. It's another SpongeBob movie.
Is there a new one coming out?
I guess.
There is.
I mean, the original SpongeBob movie is, from what I remember, good, but
like Golden Light Pictures has mentioned the movie 1917 a couple times now. That's a fantastic movie. Yeah. So anyone looking for a really, really good war movie, it's a World War I movie. That it's very good. It certainly deserves a place up there in like the pantheon of great World War I movies that have been made in the last 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
I still have not watched it. All I know is that it's like directed in a one-shot take, where it's just like following the entire thing, no like cuts or anything. So I find that interesting. So eventually I'll sit down and watch it to kind of get that experience. Right.
So there's a lot of appeal to people who maybe aren't interested in like the history of it or that time period, but just the cinematography of it, the way it was all directed and shot is super amazing as well. Yeah. But yeah, also it's just a fantastic story and depicts a lot of a pretty historically accurate depictions of a lot of what was going on in World War I on the Western Front there, at least.
Yeah.
So I enjoyed that. So yeah, you can go to Vision and Brian for animated movie recommendations.
Yeah.
I won't get in on that debate, but if you want some good war movies, hit us up.
I just like having happy things in my media. There's enough dark and depressing things happening every day. I want to feel whimsy.
That's why I gain my happiness from trolling you, Brian.
Right. It's all about balance, the equilibrium.
Yeah.
The equilibrium. What are your guys' thoughts on Joker? I saw Joker and thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And it's a very different take from anything else I've seen from a superhero movie. And I liked it. Very not family friendly. Very not family friendly.
Definitely
but good.
I have not seen that yet. Yeah, the overly, like, is it overly gory or just
No, it's not
very
even
twisted.
that. Yeah.
Okay. So that generally isn't always appealing to me in a movie. So I think that's why I've kind of avoided it to this point.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Do you like suspense?
In certain situations, though not I guess not most movies, but I mean it can be. I don't know. Like I enjoy Christopher Nolan movies. I would say some of those are like suspenseful.
Yeah, it goes about that level. There's not that much in it. I didn't get really why it was rated R. Oh, there's a reason. There's many reasons why it's rated R.
There's a reason why.
Yeah, that's the type of story that hasn't been told. I don't know if in any medium that specific type of story for the Joker origin wise, and it's very interesting and is grounded in the way that the Dark Knight is grounded in the same sort of way. Like you can like Joker typically is this character that, you just accept he is who he is, and not often do you really try to figure out, okay, what's his origin story? But you can clearly see where this guy starts and then ends up being the Joker. And it's a very interesting path. And it's like, okay, I can not empathize with you, but I get where you got to this point.
Yeah.
And I think that the multitude of iterations of the Joker in movies and comics, whatever it might be over the decades, just says so much about how amazing he is as a character and as a villain. Yeah. And then like his dynamic with Batman, I don't want to offend Kirk here. I know you're a big Marvel fan. I like the Marvel movies.
No, don't get me wrong.
Like nothing, I've still not seen any like superhero dynamic that comes close to what you get with like the Batman and Joker in the way that they've been depicted.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I love Batman. I have nothing against Batman or Joker or anything like that. I think film wise, like in terms of movie, like if you're comparing the MCU and then the DCEU, I prefer. Well, yeah, you can, but
as a body of work, the MCU is better. I think there are individual movies that are done in DC that compare, if not outclass, the MCU.
Yeah, there definitely are some films.
Joker, Dark Knight, and I really like Shazam and Aquaman, but they're not
the
same caliber.
Yeah, they're not the same along the same lines as the Dark Knight.
Joker and the Nolan trilogy are films.
Yeah.
There's cinematic experiences. Shazam is a DC movie. Aquaman.
Exactly. Like it has like the whole CGI thing going on, but Dark Knight and what's the other one you just said?
Aquaman?
Dark Knight. No, not Aquaman. Is that
Joker
as well? Joker, yeah. So like those films, it's more of a film in terms of practical stuff going on, the whole like physical action. With Shazam and Aquaman and any other DC extended universe film, it's a whole bunch of like CGI going into it. So it's cool, but then it doesn't have that like really like I guess sort of gritty action to it in terms of it being the physical stuff going on. So I mean like over anything, I would if it came down to the MCU and then the DCEU, I would rather watch an MCU film. But there, like I said, there are some films, for example, Aquaman, Wonder Woman. That's another one I really enjoyed.
Wonder Woman was spectacular,
yeah. So like those films, I love. Some of the other ones, for example, the Justice League movie that we got, don't care for that one. But then when it comes to like the animated stuff that DC does, those are great.
Yeah, that outclasses
the
Marvel almost every time.
yeah, no, like the animated ones that Marvel has done, I've watched, I think, pretty much all of them, and they're not there. And then in terms of TV shows, like recently, I've been watching a lot of the DC Universe shows. Those are very entertaining, very, very good.
I've heard they're good.
Yeah.
Where are those shows on, like Netflix, or DC has a
They're
streaming service, right?
they started their own. So basically, I think the only one that's on Netflix is Titans, but it's not available in the U.S. currently. I think it's in a different country that Titans is available on Netflix. And then, so it's Titans, it's Swamp Thing, but then they canceled that.
Yeah.
That was directed by James Wan, which is the same guy that did the Conjuring films, like series and everything like that. Then there's Doom Patrol. That one's a bit on the weird side, but I still kind of enjoy it. And then you have Stargirl. But what they did for Stargirl now is they put that on the DC Universe and the CW. So it's kind of weird because for the CW, you can definitely tell the film style is different. So when you're watching Stargirl on the CW, it kind of feels like different from your average, I guess, CW show from DC, if that makes sense. So I don't know, like over the CW DC shows, I would rather watch the DC Universe stuff more than that. It just feels much better.
It's very different from the DC streaming service shows compared to the CW, and it's a whole separate like thing.
Yeah, it's all different. Like I don't think they have like much of a connection to each other.
No, I'm at the point with all these movies now that like you don't need to have all these connections.
Exactly.
You got to focus on making quality movies, and you can't outdo Marvel. Marvel has 10 years head start, consistent quality, and unlike with Star Wars, it consistently goes up in production value as time goes on and gets more critically acclaimed as time goes on.
And
so
it all intertwines at the end.
And it all intertwines. So DC never had a shot, and that's not the point right now. I mean, none of them are doing anything right now, but like it just can't. And like Marvel has some movies that are one-offs too. So like technically now Logan is a part of, the whole ensemble, but that's another great film that is it's same idea.
Exactly.
I think I watched Logan on a plane, which is never like a real good movie watching experience. And I need to watch it on like an actual real screen, in like a real, more theater setting. Mm-hmm. And I think I would appreciate it a little more.
Yeah, that's a good story.
You just sit in the chair, you're watching a movie, seeing some cool sequence, and then all of a sudden the plane starts shaking. You're like,
right.
What's going on here? Trying to watch a movie.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's kind of awful, but I mean, you do it because it gives you something to do
to pass the time.
Yeah, trying to get the plane ride over with as soon as possible. But
one of the last movies I saw on a plane was Kong Skull Island. That was okay.
Oh, I don't know how I felt about that one. I don't think I enjoyed it as much. I don't know. Because, I mean, that one was all right. The first, I guess, movie within that whole universe, like Godzilla, that one was interesting. I heard a lot of people were complaining, though, about the latest Godzilla film, was that there was more monster action than people action.
Yeah.
And I don't get that, why there would be an issue with that, because wouldn't you want to see more of that, since that's what the movie is about? But apparently not. I don't get people sometimes. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
I haven't actually seen the Kong Skull Island movie, but fun fact, that movie was actually shot in Vietnam, which is like the first movie to be shot there since the Vietnam War happened, because all of the famous Vietnam movies that have been made were actually shot in the Philippines or similar places to that.
Okay.
So I happened to be in Vietnam around the same time that movie came out, and people were talking about that. It's this big thing of like, maybe they'll shoot more movies here. Just a side note for you.
I'll watch anything that has King Ghidorah in it. Very fair. Did you see Parasite? If so, what were your thoughts? I did not see Parasite, unfortunately. Man, Stud saying that Obi-Wan show. If they do that Obi-Wan show with the same level of care, creativity, and passion that they did Mandalorian, you're going to get the best piece of Star Wars content you'll have seen in the existence of Star Wars ever. Gonna say it right now. That show would be bonkers. Bonkers cool. You kidding me? Off the chain. And you know how I feel about Star Wars, Joshua. I'm kind of
Yeah, I know you're a little iffy on it. So
couple of key things in Star Wars that are the magnifique. Mandalorian is one of them. That Obi-Wan show better be one of them as well.
I'm halfway through The Mandalorian. John finally convinced me and the rest of it. John watched it a while back, and we finally got the rest of me and my family to watch it. So we've been doing that. We're like halfway through.
Good use of your time.
Yes, I need to. I'm bad about like starting a TV show and then never finishing it, but I need to finish it out.
Yeah, no, you're in good hands with that one. I haven't seen any of the animated Star Wars stuff, but you know, Ewan is going to be back as Kenobi again. That's what I'm looking forward to, and that's what they needed to do. And I'm glad that it's not going to be a movie trilogy. I'm glad it's going to be a show because you get more content.
Yeah.
And sooner than you would a movie, and especially with the Star Wars rotation of things, like there's technically no Star Wars movies coming out that we know of anytime soon, right? They're done for now.
I heard that Taika Waititi, the guy that directed Thor Ragnarok, is supposed to be making a Star Wars movie.
Right. But you heard that.
But there's no
on Instagram spouting off.
No,
it was actually announced. It was actually announced.
We don't know when. We don't know what it is.
Oh, yeah, that we don't know.
It's a thing. I'm saying like we know nothing. We know
we know like what the whole we don't know if they're going to completely repeat what happened from the first 6 films.
Exactly.
We don't.
So that's what I mean. I'm glad Obi-Wan is a show. I'm glad Falcon and Winter Soldier is a show. I think you're going to see more of that, which I'm fine with because it's more content and it has that same cinematic level of quality. Like, I'm in.
I think what Anthony Mackie said from one of those like news sources was that Falcon and the Winter Soldier to him feels like a 6 to 8 hour movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like a show, which is good to hear because that's what I would like to see.
Right.
At first, I was like I remember when Disney Plus was just getting announced and the whole Marvel panel had happened before that. And at first, I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. I would kind of prefer to see these as movies, not shows. But then hearing more of the development and everything that was going into it, I was like, you know what? The show actually seems much better. It'll give us more time to kind of get that action from the characters, get more character development, and get to really see like what all they'll be doing and how it will kind of connect further into like the actual films that will come out beyond that. So I'm personally excited for it. It is sad that it got delayed now, but I think they're supposed to be starting filming back now that I guess things are kind of lessening up a bit. So that's always good.
It's still supposed to be out this year, I believe, but
yeah. I think it was supposed to be that and WandaVision, I believe, were supposed to come out the same year. And then I think Loki was like next year or something like that. But I'm not sure what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, Golden Light Pictures says TV is the future of Star Wars, which is, I guess, sort of what people say, going back to what you were talking about earlier, Kirk, with the DC TV shows. Isn't that what a lot of people say about DC? It's like the TV shows are so good now, especially compared to some of the lesser DC movies that have been made. Like a lot of the best stuff is on TV for that.
Totally.
Yeah.
And Joseph Sawada took a midday nap, so he's only catching the end of the stream. You missed so much good stuff.
Lots of talk about nonsense. It's great.
We do just have a few minutes left here. But for anyone who wasn't with us earlier, we had forrestfire101, who, you know, very relevant to all of the Marvel and DC stuff we've been talking about, has made a lot of hilarious parody videos of those genres and those properties. So if you haven't seen his stuff and you're a fan of all of these movies and TV shows, check his stuff out because it's really good.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Do I have any other movie posters? Actually, no. I need to get more. I'm planning on getting more movie posters. Currently, the only one I have is Jaws. Besides that poster, well, no, technically I do, because I have the Lego Movie 2 poster. I just don't have the wall space really to put it up just yet, because surprisingly, that poster is slightly larger than the Jaws poster, and I didn't notice that when I got it. So I have to figure out if I'm going to frame it or not, and then eventually I'll put it up. But I do have a Spider-Man canvas behind the camera, and then I have this thing over here, which is like in a frame with like the comic book style Marvel characters, and then over there is another Marvel poster, but that's about it. And then I also have, I didn't put it up yet, but I have a, what's it called? Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening poster, like 2 of them, because it was double-sided, and I went to GameStop and asked the guy for them, and he was just like, take 2 of them, since it's double-sided this way, in case you want to display the other side. So I was just like, okay.
Cool.
Oh, for some reason, talking about posters and thinking of what Brian has behind him there, reminded me of Mario's things, which then reminded me that I saw some article, Brian, about, and I think I've heard this before, like people upset at Nintendo for like taking down videos for supposed copyright issues, that sort of thing. Is that a problem you've ever had with any of your videos?
Well, the one video that is going around right now,
that must be what I saw.
Yeah, so there's one video. It's a gentleman. I actually met him at PAX East. She says, which does the show Boundary Break. So he'll take like Animal Crossing and like manipulate the camera to see like things you're never supposed to see. And to get that software implemented into the game, you technically need to modify your Switch, and showcasing that to hundreds of thousands of people is probably something Nintendo's like,
yeah, that's
so
not a good idea.
You know, it's like, yeah, that I understand. I've never had any issue like doing my playthrough videos, because I'm basically just like advertising the game for them, and like here's the way you beat the game, and it's never like here's how you exploit your Switch to get free games on the not quite like. And I always say in my videos like, hey, I enjoyed this game, buy it, go and buy it, play it, and whatever. So I'm a good influencer in that way, trying to like convince people to actually pay for the product and all that. And I don't play like fake copies of games or pirated or anything like that.
Right.
So I don't see how I would have an issue personally, but yes, they used to be a lot more harsh on that, but I think they finally realized like, hey, people are buying our games hand over fist, and if these people want to demonstrate the product properly, then yeah, go for it, whatever. It's like, yeah, like Lego wouldn't take down mock videos because, oh, you're technically misusing our brick and making war vehicle. It's like, no, it's a whole intricate issue, but it's the same sort of thing. Technically, in terms of how the law technically is, everybody streaming and doing videos and everything is technically maybe not legal, but because how many people are producing content and how much it helps the ecosystem of the internet and live streaming and whatever, everyone's like, this is a good thing. So a lot of those laws need to get rewritten and updated, because they were like, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act was enacted like, you know, in an outdated time. So it's all that stuff. But yeah, that specific case, that's a bit more of a, you know,
outlier.
Yeah, it's an outlier. So I haven't gotten claimed for anything by Nintendo as far as I know so far. So I mean, hey,
well, that's
and I'm not doing stuff like that either. So
that's what Lego is going to do that to you when you hack your Mario and show how you can get like unending coins.
So what I planned on doing was like, you know, hacking the Mario here and then swapping it out with the Bricks O'Brien logo. That way it meshes with Nintendo. So I'll get a cease and desist from Lego and Nintendo, one foul swoop. You guys will talk to me again because I'm a liability. Presence on the internet. Bam, bing, bang, boom, done.
I can't think of like any more nightmare scenario than both Lego and Nintendo legal teams wanting to come at you at the same time.
I'd die. I'd be like, this is it. I'm done. I don't, what, there's no way I get out of this. It's over. I'm done. So, you know, hey, I already have enough anxiety as it is, Joshua. You can't plant that thing in my head, and then I'll get all worked up, and then
okay, forget about it.
Like, Josh, now that you said
it, the lawyers are gonna come knocking.
And I'll be in the field position in my office, like, take everything, leave. just
holding your Mario up in the air. I surrender. You can take it.
A little like a white flag. I'm like, please leave me alone.
This was my one dream, but I'll give him up.
That's fine. It's fine. Whatever it takes to clear my name. It's all good.
Oh, man.
Well, that's your anxiety for the week, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you for
on that note, I think we're gonna wrap it up for the stream here. It's been a real winner. Thanks to everyone who's joined us. We had very good live viewership here, actually. Even into the second half of the stream when normally we plummet.
yeah. You know, the bar keeps getting lower and lower. So the more we can exceed that bar, I'm game for it.
Yes. So thank you to Forrest who joined us earlier. For anyone who's just watching now, definitely go back and watch that on the recorded video because he had a lot of really good insights if you're a fan of his videos or just brick filming in general and his tips that he shared there. Lots of good stuff. And if you want to learn more about what animated movies to watch, then you can also watch through the entire stream again to pick up on that. Thank you, Vision, for joining us. Always good to have you here. And Brian, I enjoy your gift card. I know you'll use it wisely to keep up your energy for lots of future streams to come.
Absolutely. You know it, sir.
Thank you, everyone, for watching. We'll see you real soon.